Thank you. Hello and welcome back, and genuinely welcome back. I feel like it's been so long since I've been on NLC, but I am here. I am back for the Div 2. I'm back once again, and I'm joined by Carvis. I'm excited. We've got upper bracket playoffs coming through. Unique taking on 42 Gaming. Carvis, welcome back to the stream. How have you been?
I've been enjoying my break. You say that you're happy to be back in Div 2. I've been here once almost the entire season. So yeah, it's lovely to be back here to see an unexpected top of the bracket playoff team in 42. I think this is the first time they head in playoffs from the upper bracket.
Yeah, and in a bit of a weird way, I would say. Like, I feel like they had a very shaky start to the season. I think their late 3 weeks were really solid. I think they won something like 4 or 5 games out of 6, and they started to put on a big show. So I do feel like 42, they're coming into this really, really hot, especially their last 2 weeks. I think they went 3-1, whereas Unique, they're not doing as well in terms of momentum. They are 2-2 from the last couple of weeks, and when these two teams met on the last week, Unique did lose. So 42, in my opinion, are on the rise. They're definitely making a bit of a statement for themselves. And you know what? I'm here for it. I like the competition. I like the new teams being up in the leaderboard. And I'm down. I'm down to see who can thrive. But, Carvis, I think this is going to be a real close series.
It is definitely. And the thing, while 42 has had the recent success, I think Unique may have an advantage going into draft and the patch. We are on a new patch. We are on 14.15 with Aurora enabled, and with all the Tristaners and stuff coming in, Dusty's been the one to try out the new AD carry picks like Zeri in the mid lane that have been popping up and have been on the rise. So I have a feeling they may be a little bit better prepared, but it's been a while since we've seen these two teams play, and they could have prepared something on 42's side as well.
You know, definitely could be prepared. We are going to jump into draft, though. And the big thing for me, Carvis, is that, like, this Zeri pick has become so big for the side of Unique, right? They've played it in the ADC role. They've played it in the mid lane. They played it in all 4 of their last games in week 7. And it is definitely one that's going to be up for contention. But the biggest pick up for contention right here, right now, is Leona in my eyes, because both teams are perma-picking this one in the last 2 weeks. So definitely expecting that one to come through. We are going to see a miss ban for Unique because they submitted their roster a little bit late. So they will be missing ban number 1, which will definitely hurt them a little bit, but maybe a little bit more on the red side if we do see a flip.
Yeah. And the support picks are overall going to be super important for this game, just because, well, on 42 side, Rexet has been a primary playmaker, has always been on engaged, even sometimes pulling out the pike, which almost no other support in the league pulls out. And well, we know Touch by this point. Touch is always there in Division 2, being the main shot caller, being the main playmaker, and just providing that extra utility to the teams. You can't see that in the bans, though. We see heavy target into the jungle with Lucian and the other AD mid laners being such a high priority. There's just going to be a ton of bans going that way.
Tristana is still up, Lucian is still up, Brand is still up, Zyra is still up. Like, the list goes on. I will say both these two junglers have really liked playing tank. Sejuani has been a super popular pick for both these teams as well. So definitely expecting maybe less AP junglers, maybe a little bit more tank orientation, but is Zeri going to be locked in first? Dusty, Deadhound, both can play it, can be flexed still, and I do like the pickup. I think it's very strong at the moment.
But this leaves the Sejuani a bit. Oh! Yeah, we got the money
off the rip as well. I was kind of expecting us to not see it because we've heard that it's enabled, but it was with the nerfs, not with the buff. So I don't know how strong Aurora is going to be at the moment, but the fact that we get it in game 1 is crazy. The Leona are going to come through as well. We predicted that. We saw that from a long way off as the Sejuani being hovered. No surprise if that gets locked in either.
Yeah. They probably need to get support here, just because otherwise it will, the role will get horribly banned out, and you really want to secure a strong support to have some extra buttons to play with. But Aurora, let's talk about her a little bit. Yeah. This champion is...
To her a lot.
She is really weird in a sense, where she can flex into multiple roles, is pretty short ranged, but if she ever gets ahead and gets to be a lane bully, really easy to land spells against melee matchups, especially, and anyone who she kind of matches range with, they just can't really trade against her. She deals a ton of damage.
Yeah, a lot of damage indeed. I think the ultimate is also really interesting in utilization. I think that definitely going to be quite a difference maker, I'd say, in team fights, especially with Zeri, someone that is very notorious for getting away. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting pickup indeed. JJ going to lock in the Kaisar. They're expecting that to go to Chrissy, right? Because we already had the Aurora. And I feel like Kaisar Leona, it's been the pick for this team so far. I think they've played it 3 times with the Leonas in the last 4 games. So yeah, this has been their comfort. And I will say 42 in general, I feel like have kind of stuck to their guns. Realistically, only JJ kind of picking up some different stuff. Played the Renekton, right? Played a lot of Lucian, played a little bit of Corki. Now going to pull out the Aurora. And outside of that, I feel like most of the team have kind of locked in very similar stuff. So expecting a lot of comfort still. The Orianna being banned away means the 42 don't believe the Unique are set on sending the Zeri mid.
I think it's the Orianna ban is more targeting at the Rel, just to make sure there's no additional wombo combos coming in. I would like to see a Rumble ban though. The Rumble I think is more dangerous paired up with the Rel. And with these bans coming in, the Malphite heavily implies that, hey, we might get another AD carry on our team, so don't pick anything that stacks armor. You already have the Leona, which can be pretty difficult to deal with.
Where's the Rammus? That's what I want to know. When are we seeing more Rammus gameplay? Like we're playing in a meta of 2 ADCs. Is Rammus not just that guy?
I mean, Rammus isn't even that bad in a vacuum when it comes to that, but you just get so badly counter-picked by anything that is named Alistar or anything similar that you just kind of can't play the game. You will never reach the enemy AD carries.
Anything similar? Rakarnistar, you know, like Relistar, like Nautilus Star. Yeah, like I definitely get what you're saying here. Like Rammus definitely has some issues, some things that can be picked against it. This is a pick that I definitely am not expecting them to lock in here. Shyvana obviously has been quite popular, but it's not going to be so. It's going to be Viego, which I think is definitely strong. It's a little bit of a different look that we've seen from Balmif. I feel like so far we've really just seen the Sejuani, and then the brand was the answer to the Sejuani before. But going for that Viego, I like it a lot. I think it gives you a lot of utility, gives you a lot of damage in those team fights.
And the Shyvana, as you mentioned, has been seeing some popularity, but is more known as to be a scrim monster. So nobody going to bring it out just yet on the main stage. Oh, whoa! We haven't seen you in a while. Syndra shows up.
But is it Deadhound?
That's also a interesting take.
Because Deadhound played loads of Hui, right, at the start of the season. I wouldn't be super surprised if they played Syndra. I feel like they might have already played Syndra. Now I need to double check. Need to stat check
it's
that.
A possibility, but here's the 42 special. It doesn't matter if Fruity Fresh is not on the team anymore. The Smolder still gets picked up, and that's going to be a top lane counter pick, in fact. This is going to be annoying for Archfiend.
I don't like it.
It is going to be so annoying to deal with this Smolder. And once the Smolder starts with the Doran's Ring, you're just going to be perma-farming stacks. You don't even care about winning the lane 100%. You're just going to be scaling up into the mid-game, trying to get that 225 breakpoint as soon as possible. And yeah, 42's composition, I think, outside of lacking frontline a little bit, is looking quite good.
No, I do like it. I like Jungle Down. I don't know if I like the Smolder top. I think the Smolder top for me is... I think if they'd maybe gone for another tank, I maybe like it a little bit more, but they went for a Viego. Now they got Smolder. It's just, for me, it's like you're playing into Cassante, who... I feel like if Cassante gets 1 kill on this Smolder, it is just GG. Like, it's done. Your goose is cooked. And also, Smolder is quite squishy. Zeri is just really, really good into squishies, right? Just basically presses the ultimate. It's GG. 3 people are already dead. And then if we're talking about people that get rid of ADCs, Syndra on top of that as well. So it just feels like, okay, yes, I do like that there is versatility. There's a lot of range, but Aurora, Smolder, and also Kaisai, I feel like all of them can kind of just get picked off pretty easily. The one thing I will say, Carvis, that I do respect and do like is that there is a lot of diving coming through. There's not like a lot of protect the carry. It's a lot of the carriers can kind of do it for themselves.
Yeah. And as I said, if you catch 42, they will die. They are extremely squishy and they can get picked off easily. That's a big if, though. Because these champions can be quite slippery. When you think about Kai'Sa, when you think about Smolder, all of them have these self-peel tools that are pretty hard to reach outside of the Sejuani or Rel finding a good flank, or well, Rel kind of has to expend flash to get a proper stun combination onto one of these carries. And sure, if you do it, Syndra will pop anyone. No contest. It's just, can Unique coordinate this around the objectives and find the proper flanks and find the proper picks before they head into that straight-on 5-on-5 team fight?
It's a lot of questions, but we're going to get the answers pretty soon. We're going to go into the Rift. Game 1 is underway. Unique taking on 42 Gaming. Carvus, I'm excited that we're both back. I'm excited that we're in playoffs. It's going to be a not super long road to the finals, but definitely a couple of weeks. We'll be taking this one all the way. And who is going to be joining Rich Gang in the upper bracket finals? Will it be 42? Will it be Unique? Either way, one will have to rise, one will fall, the other one could have to take on fourth wall. So essentially a lot at stake here. Not necessarily that you're going out, but the road to the finals becomes a lot more difficult if you don't pick up the win here.
There's a chance that we repeat history if Unique takes this one. They're going to go for a small invade here onto the Raptors, just scouting out Bonnie's passing, set up the ward, and play with that extra bit of information. JJ can't really approach the Raptors on his own, but yeah, it's entirely possible that we have a repeat of a last split where Unique and Rich Gang are the ones heading to the winners finals, and possibly even the finals, looking like some of the strongest teams that we have in Division 2.
But is it going to maintain? You know, I feel like Rich Gang obviously last time faltered at the final hurdle. They were doing so well, and then they couldn't get it done in the finals. To your own Blues Whites. And
you're still saying Blues Whites. Where's the S?
Blue Whites.
Where's the S coming from?
I'm just creating S's, you know. Like it's sometimes it just happens. But either way, yeah, Blue Whites. My bad. Apologies to the Finnish community. But it's a sentiment where, like, Rich Gang, they were able to be the dominant team throughout the whole of the tournament, and then when it finally came down to it, they weren't able to pick up the win. So I do wonder if Rich Gang have maybe got that little chip on their shoulder. Obviously, completing the roster, but Unique definitely have been the second fiddle throughout the whole split, so definitely would be pretty fair for them to go up to this upper bracket. However, I think 42 willing to take that one off of them, as we are seeing at the moment nothing too crazy. Both junglers starting on that bot side, going to be moving up towards the top side. It looks like we should be getting a bit of a push from the blue side, from Unique into the bot lane, but all in all, nothing too crazy in the early game.
Nothing too crazy, and both teams pathing towards the top side is quite interesting, considering the engage potential that and the volatility that you have on the bot lane. They're looking to play instead towards the Smolder, where the Smolder is getting a free lane. You can already see it in the CS advantage. You can see it in the overall HP pool. Kasante having to play with the aftershock, considering that, well, you're never going to get auto attacks onto the dragon, are you? So Virtuoso perfectly happy to crash this wave and play with the safety of his jungler being there to support him.
We'll be able to keep that push going. As we said, if you get the kill on the Smolder early, definitely can put a big detriment, but I do wonder if maybe we see Balmeef play for that top side, try and get aggressive. As on this bot side, right, we're obviously seeing the ebb and flow of the wave. I want to talk about the mid lane though, Carvus, because we haven't really seen Aurora. You know, JJ loves these new champions, loves to play something a little bit different in the mid lane. It's going to be taking quite a bit of damage, and the short range of Aurora does seem to be pained against this Syndra, as you are seeing Bananistri in the wings waiting.
One of those matchups that Aurora probably doesn't like. Of course, we have low data on how she actually performs in these, but all these champions like Orianna, Ahri, and the ones that outrange her can be quite difficult, and you may fall prey to the stun combo as you go in for those extra trades for bot lane.
Ooh, talking about going for the trades. Rexat gonna just about live there. Ignite was ticking over, but not gonna be enough, as Bananistri is gonna chase them away from their tower. Dusty forced away from their own lane as well, as we do finally see Balmeef onto the Rift. And this is nice, so they are getting a decent amount of plates and also starving away some of that CS, as the lightning just going through the tower, but it's not gonna be enough to take down Rexat.
Still, the Leona being this low makes it so that they can keep playing for the dive and denying resources from Chrissy and Balmeef. They can't really contest this.
They can't, but they're going to. It's Unique very much stepping forward, looking for this aggressive play. 42 trying to have an answer, but not really too much available, as you said, as once again the Ultra Shock laser just about not going to land onto Rexat. So a lot of pressure has been accrued, but nothing really gained of it. Obviously, early Drake's definitely a question mark in my mind. When these last two teams played, 42 were super heavy on the neutral objectives.
Neutral objectives are going to be quite important here, especially for you need to be picking up those early dragons. They are going to have a rough time playing 42 if they scale up into the later stages of the game and get the Kaiser W's unlocked, get the Smolder true damage going. They need to flex this early priority that they have through mid and bot, and they are, as you can see, doing it quite early, 5:30 on the clock as the dragon gets started, and it's a fairly good timing as well, as JJ hasn't really finished anything in his inventory, barely hitting level 6, and the Kaiser is going to take some time to be able to match up the aggression of Deadtown and Touch.
And I could have asked, because I feel like Aurora is still quite new, right? I haven't played it myself, because I'm not a mid laner, but I have played with it, and it does feel like it scales quite nicely. So I do see a world where, you know what, 42 play the game slow, they play for the even trades, they go for the grub trade, then they next go for the grub trade with the dragons, and then they just essentially want to scale the game out to 25, and then they will just kind of pop off, right? Because we all know what Smolder does, we all know what Viego is like in the late game, and I do think it is going to be a similar pattern that is going to be followed by the Aurora. But Carvis, is there maybe a little bit of worry that, you know what, okay, yes, they all scale, but as I said earlier, they are still very squishy, and the Zeri and the Syndra are always going to be more and more powerful?
It's all gonna come down to whether they can get the reset and the initial engage or not. But that is going to be very difficult to do against Unique, who have a ton of frontline. They have a ton of peeling potential for their two main carries, and it's going to be down to Rex and JJ to lock someone down into the Aurora ultimate and burst someone from 100 to 0 before Unique has a chance to respond. But that's still some time away. They're still on the defensive, and they're trying to survive the Unique laning phase, where you can see most of the lanes doing quite well. It's only the Zeri that has accrued a bit of an advantage. Surprisingly, the Cassandra doing quite well for himself.
Oh, here we go.
Well,
Gango in the bot lane. Valmeep is going to make their entrance. The Harbinger comes through, and goodbye to the Rel immediately. The stun lands on Deadhound. It's not going to lead to any much more of the damage, but a nice gank kicking off the first kill in the whole series.
Top lane?
And onto the Viego as well, as we are going to go top lane. Archfiend forcing Virtuoso to flash over the wall. A nice all out. Again, showing the Smolder is weak, as now in the mid lane, it's all happening at the same time. Carvis, Bananistry finding that pick, and it's easily destroyed. JJ having zero capability to play against Dusty.
We're still over yet. Balmeep's gone out.
Balmeep, the next target. Oh my days, these teams are just going zero fights for 7 minutes, but we're all going to pop off in the next 30 seconds. Unique coming out 2-1 ahead, kills across the map, and flashes also burned to that top side. So I'd say at the moment, Unique starting to turn the screws.
Yeah, Unique figures out, hey, there's an enemy jungler on our bot side of the map. Well, let's take everything else then. JJ falls to the Syndra burst in mid lane. Didn't even need to use the ultimate. Bananyas. Oh my god, I'm gonna struggle with that, aren't I? Bananyasti? Let's go with that. He just was able to sneak behind the tower and land a beautiful ultimate first combo. As you can see, Dusty doesn't really need to work for the damage, just wait for JJ to come last hit and then look for that extra poke, setting up for those extra jungle plays. And from there, you have mid lane priority to go and counter jungle. Balmeep not really respecting that, showing himself on the bot side of the map and seeing the mid lane play happen. Meanwhile, on the top side, Bertozo was caught out a little bit, and earlier I mentioned that if he starts with a Doran's Ring, he shouldn't have any mana issues. With the Doran's Blade start, though, spamming these abilities is quite costly, and if you find yourself out of resources, that's when Cassandra has the opportunity to start turning the tides in the matchup.
And that's why I just feel like it's it's never a pick that really resonates with me of this Smolder. Like maybe I can be proven wrong, you know. Virtuoso, do show me if it is great, but I just feel like it's always a little bit underwhelming, especially into things like the Cassante. Obviously, as we scale into the game, maybe my opinion will change, but we are starting to get to some more objectives here. The next dragon going to be up in a minute 20, and I do wonder now, do 42 play for this quite aggressively? Because it's the second dragon, puts Unique on essentially like a 21, 22 minutes, so, and it's Infernal, so I feel like there has to be a lot of pressure from 42, but they did just lose a lot in that exchange.
I think they have to play for a pick instead of straight up the dragon, just because of how Unique's composition works. In a straight on 4-on-4, I don't think 42 is able to beat them, and getting themselves in that situation where you are playing against Syndra Sejuani, who can blow someone up instantly, is not exactly what they want to do. And once Unique starts setting up vision, that's the sign to go in, play and make the area dark, try to clear the waves as much as you can to make sure that the objective stays safe for now.
Yeah, Unique, they're going to start trading up here. They are going to go for the grubs. I do wonder if there's time to maybe get Bananistry down into the bot side to contest this dragon, but actually 42 might have a free run at this Drake, because at the moment, Unique were not mobilized, although Bananistry has taken 2. Now going to start moving towards this mid lane because JJ has started to make the play. Baumito not going to be caught out here. Will be knocked up as he goes aggressive. Looks for Dusty, gets the kill, but will fall down. The jungler for the mid laner works out perfectly for Unique because they now have the opportunity to go straight for this dragon.
That's a huge commitment from JJ to try and call for that play. Dusty still had his flash up, so the cage can be escaped from, unlike Camille cage. You can flash over the wall. Dead Hound, though.
Talk about people that have to flash and get over a wall. Dead Hound having to slide across that one, but now has invited the bot lane into a dangerous scenario. Rexa and Chrissy still looking for more. Dead Hound having to use the barrier. Will go low, finally falls down, and Rexa is able to start walking away. Is it enough damage? They've split their focus, and Chrissy picks up another kill. Bananistry looking for the final little bit of damage. Will kill off the Leona, but gets caught out by JJ on the roam, and what looked like a secure dragon turned into multiple kills, and the dragon handed over to 42.
Who would win, 3 members of Unique or 1 Leona boy? Rexa just flexing the base damage and stats that Leona has from the W, and pretty much almost solo kills Dead Hound. Chrissy didn't get to auto attack too much until the end of that fight. And yeah, I think Unique just didn't expect the amount of damage these two can put out. And mid lane, ooh. Dusty, oh no. This time didn't have to flash, gets caught out. Flash is burned from the Viego. I think that was just a regular old flash W repeat gank. So 42 answering back in this quite good looking fashion.
And very similar to how we saw them play in week 7, right? Early objectives going the way of 42. Now, obviously, it's pretty even still, right? 1 dragon apiece, 4 grubs selected by 42. Therefore, they will get that buff. They will be able to spawn 1 goblin in every time they attack those towers. So the siege is going to be a little bit more powerful as well. But I've got to say, Corvus, I feel like this game felt very locked down by Unique, and then 42 have just kind of magicked these leads back out of nowhere.
And they are going to be looking for even more plays. You see in the inventory, Malignance finished for JJ. There are 2 different builds that you can go for. You can go for Rod of Ages for that extra tankiness and extra scaling, getting those levels up. Or you can go for the Malignance, which makes you more squishy, but lets you pop the ultimate so more often, and you can get more picks with your jungler as long as the opponent's flashes down and they don't have any extra dashes to work with.
Yeah, Between Worlds, really strong ultimate, obviously, as you said, can be flashed out of. Although also the big play right now is around this tier 1 tower, should be taken down. The dive, though, is starting to occur. Rexa is taking quite a bit of damage, and the Magnet Storm is massive. 2 people caught up. How even Chrissy able to get away for now, but not enough. Distance gained. The damage raining in from Dusty. Another kill gonna fall down. And what I talked about, Carvis, is starting to happen. The carries, they're all squishy. They can all be obliterated.
Who needs to hit a Sejuani ultimate? Just that, check the enemy. Archfiend wants to get a piece of the Smolder as well, saying the rest of his team fight. But that fight, although not perfectly executed, more than clean enough to get all the kills that they wanted and the first tower of the game, skyrocketing them well, not skyrocketing them. It's more like a small firework, 500 gold ahead, but an important tempo swing. They get the reset and they get to play for the Herald now with those additional items in their inventories. And a ton of resources was expended by 42. No ultimates left for this incoming fight if they want to go and contest it.
Yeah, kills are even, but the pressure on towers has been the way of Unique. They managed to whittle down quite a lot in that bot side to then finally finish it off. And now rotating Deadhound around the map early, I think, is going to start to give them that chance of opening up the mid tower, which obviously is very crucial on the later stages. But Next Dragon going to be spawning up in 2 minutes. It's still a little while away. But I do wonder how these teams are now feeling about that team fight, because at the moment, Unique surely have to feel like it was a pretty clean take.
Yeah, Unique is perfectly happy with their position. Considering they have static shift finish and Deadhound, they're going to have permanent mid lane priority. Every single wave is just going to blow up. They can't really defend it against the healer without committing with JJ's ultimate and possibly a solar flare, rotating a ton of people into the mid lane. But this lets Archfiend just scale up and play for himself. This Cassante will become a menace in the later stages of the game.
Ooh, Rex over there missing out, not going to be able to catch out, but here is two worlds. JJ now able to start putting the pressure onto Deadhound as the Sejuani going to buy a little bit more space, and the TP is coming in as well, but it is a 4 versus 3, and it's not looking good right now. 42 doing so much damage, but Unique will take one back. A nice all-out will kill off Balmeef, and the rest very low, so could potentially open up for Unique to push this mid tower.
You just have to mention the Aurora ultimate playmaking and it will happen. That was basically how you punish the mid lane clear. It's just that they weren't able to get to Zeri itself. Getting the teleport out of Archfiend, though, locks him in place for the near future, letting Bertozo play a little bit more freely. With his reset, he should finish up his boots and then start building towards the second item. What is the stack situation on the Smolder? It should be fairly close.
Yeah, we'll have to check in on that.
165,
right,
so he should be done by the 20-minute mark if he farms properly. And then Unique is going to be facing a major issue in these objective fights.
Yeah, Smolder not really playing a part in the game so far. Vatuzo very much been set off to his top side. And I don't think that's too crazy to have thought about. But right now, it does feel like JJ able to do a lot in these fights, right? When the between worlds is up especially, it can really cover for any sort of missed skill shots, right? When Rexat missed the solar flare, missed the engage, but then because the Zeri was locked in and didn't have flash, was not able to go anywhere. Now, obviously, big team fights though. Flashes might start to change that a little bit, but 42 are mobilizing. They're not willing to give this one over for free. The tower will go down, but can they make a play after it? Balmeef looking to get on the engage, but cannot get into the Sejuani, and it will be a tower for nothing.
Yeah, without JJ or Rexet on a flank, it is going to be very hard for them to find and engage. And, well, you just saw it there. They commit a ton of people up to the top side, don't really get anything out of it. Now the waves are all pushing. Look at the bot side wave especially. That's going to be annoying to push back, while Unique converges on the mid lane. They have Herald to play with, and they can start rotating over to the dragon.
Here we go. Unique back on that tower push. They've been very, very pressed on the tower objective play here. Going to summon the Herald as well to try and take down this tier 1. It will be destroyed, and they can then move themselves straight onto the dragon, but they're using the double slam technique. It's going to charge once. It might charge again. It will be destroyed before it can, but it opens up for the tower to be taken, as we do see between worlds open up, and the damage is massive. JJ is down. The Magnetstorm locks up 3 as well. Chrissy will fall 2, and in comes the dragon, but Vatuzo has been taken straight out. The all out is going forward, and right now Archfiend is untouchable. A tower taken down, 3 kills, and a dragon. Do Unique want any more?
Something locked in with you, something locked in with me. Unique aren't afraid. They know that they are strong, and they know that the Aurora is more posturing than anything else. Instantly punished 42 hard, taking 2 towers and a couple of kills along with the objective. And this could be the breaking point where 42 scaling composition starts to collapse.
And I have to say, I talked so much about the carries, I talked about the Syndra, the Zeri, the damage, the Kazante, blah, blah, but Touch is MVPing right now. The Magnet Storm to lock down Chrissy, to lock down Balmeef, I believe, was absolutely massive. There's no opportunity for the side of 42 to get away. And as I said, they're squishy. If any damage lands on them, it is GG. So Touch really able to storm through these fights. And so far, there hasn't really been a rebuttal from 42. And I feel like that's what I talked about earlier when I said they're just not very tanky. They're very squishy, Carvis. They don't really have a way to stop this rel. And I don't really see how they make a plan about it.
The other thing about 42's composition is that it's really hard to play. Like, I don't even know how to describe how difficult this composition is to play, because you don't really have too many tools to engage with, and every single one that they have requires a huge commitment from at least 2 members of the team. The team 42 needs to be on the right page at the right time, while Unique just needs to press a button.
And they're doing it again. The laser going to cut through Rexat. Will be quite tanky though, so Leona will be able to walk away. Does have Warmogs as well, so not upset about taking those small trades. As now Unique going to rotate themselves towards this bot tier 2. They've been hungry to get these towers down, and they have started to do so. 4 towers already taken. They're looking for more, but I think Baron is going to be their next call before they can really start putting pressure on those towers again.
Yeah, no need to overcomplicate it. They've been playing simple, good League of Legends this entire game. Why do anything else? It's up to 42 to somehow find a way to approach this Baron if they ever wish to contest it. But with their AD carry and mid lane, they're both lacking the second items. They just... I don't know if they can cut through the front line anymore. Kazante scaled up 2 kills at almost 200 CS, level 13. Perfectly happy to play against anyone approaching.
Touch just so confident to walk around here. Sees Rexat, just does not care. Moves forward, threatens the Viego. And right now, it just feels like 42, they don't want the Baron to be a free run for Unique, but they can't step up, they can't step forward, and they're trying to get Vision down, but Unique just quite happy to go back, clear it all out, set the Baron up properly, push the waves, and make sure that they have the best chance of taking this one without any sort of disruption.
Rexat is trying to get some vision in. Balmeef is there. They're going to turn.
Ooh, here we go. Another Magnet Storm, another 2 collected. And again, another setup perfectly for Unique. They didn't want to do it when the jungler could be in the vicinity, so they removed him from the game. And now the Baron is theirs.
And again, this is only 2 members of 42 committing to the play. The rest were stuck clearing the mid wave or the jungle, trying to secure vision, trying to secure the mid lane priority, but they don't have time. They need to coordinate as a team. And while they may get a mid lane tower out of this, Unique will be trying to close out the game. They are far enough ahead. They have the power spikes that they need. And now they just need to play around the waves, probably play towards the top bot side outer tower. There's going to be a dragon up in a minute and a half. If something goes haywire, someone gets caught, they can just reposition around the dragon area and start sieging the 2 lanes from there. It's simple and good League of Legends that Unique are playing straight from the textbook. And I don't know, it just looks very impressive.
Ooh, JJ trying to get proactive here, but definitely not the right crowd. I'm not gonna lie, you're not doing anything to Archfiend and Benedistry as they just watch the tower fall down. But look at the open space, right? We're looking at mid tier 3, we're looking at top tier 2, and the tier 1 in bot lane is really not the fair trade.
No, again, getting that small influx of gold may do some good. They get the second item of Chrissy, but yeah, JJ isn't going to do anything to those tanks. You already saw it. Lacking in farm, lacking in items, lacking in impact, really, as Rexat may be the target.
Oh, Deadhound going aggressive here. Rexat going to have to flash away. Quite an important summoner already burned, reducing their chance of engages, which, as we said, has been a bit of a difficult one for them. They haven't been able to get onto the carries of Unique to make those big plays. Every single fight has gone the way of Touch locking multiple members down and then being obliterated by the damage of the Syndra and of the Zerius. Right now, the tower bot lane tier 2 looking to be picked up by Unique, but just don't have enough damage. And Virtuoso, good wave clearance. Hold on a minute. In the mid lane, we see a pickup of Dusty and Chrissy and Balmeef now starting to make a lot of damage happen as in goes Archfiend. 1 kill has been returned. And Balmif is going to be able to get away. A 4 versus 4 setting up just before the dragon spawns. Virtuoso starting to put a bit of pressure, showing that this smolder has started to scale.
So this is the one issue of the unique composition. If Dusty or Deadhound get caught, now you suddenly are missing 50% of your damage output. Sure, Archbeam can replace some of that by just going all out, but now they're dealing without their mage.
Ooh, and in they go, locked between worlds. Balmif looking for the Deadhound. Look, as here comes Touchless. Stun is massive. 3 members stunned, but can they get to Deadhound? Deadhound is not super high in HP, getting lower and lower. Balmif going aggressive. The Heartbreaker over the wall, not going to be enough. And Yossi is back in the fight now, looking to kill off Virtuoso. Immediately removes him from the map, and Inistri trying to buy a bit more time as Balmif has now become the Rel, looking for the Sejuani. They're chasing them down. There's no way for Inistri to go except for the wall, because they get over it with the Arctic Assault. 42, big play, big moment, secure the dragon, but they don't get all that they would want.
A small taste of smolder in that team fight. Sure, you may have found to engage, but you didn't get the dragon. They're still approaching the trying to contest. What are they doing?
Yeah, Rek'Sai is very tanky, and there's so many members here. The Great Escape was all for nothing, and now they're locked down onto Dusty as well. Unique just gifting over 2 free kills.
This is quickly snowballing out of control. The gold lead is starting to diminish, and giving away the dragon makes it so that Unique has no soul win condition or Elder Dragon win condition for quite some time. It's 26 minutes on the clock, so we may be in for a long one if Unique can't close it out quickly.
Yeah, a little bit of some, I guess maybe some bad decisions, right? It all started off with Dusty getting caught in the mid lane. Then they decided to fight 4 versus 5. And then obviously we saw how the rest of the players went, and overextension for Abandoned History and Dusty there to just watch the dragon be taken. It was a little bit questionable, but you know what? The game has been quite back and forth overall so far, Carver, so we'll see if it does flip back to Unique here. But this is the moment 42 were waiting for, the opening to get themselves back into the game to make this a close one.
It really feels like Unique got a little bit antsy. Like, they really wanted to fight for the dragon, but after Dusty got caught, they were a man down for almost the entirety of that. I don't even know how many minutes that entire sequence was. It was a long time that they were fighting a man down. This allows 42 to get their main carries operational, and we mentioned at the beginning of the game, this Kai'Sa, once the W evolution becomes a factor, and she can start going a little bit on the AP poke side, all of a sudden, Unique have to figure something out to go into 42, because they can't reach the Kai'Sa in any way.
And Chrissy, I do wonder if they're going to pivot into more AP to kind of add to that, right? Get the Void Seekers even more devastating. Right now, Deadhound just quite happy behind their shield. They're not going to take too much damage, and I do agree with you. It's like getting onto that backline. If you can get onto the Smolder, if you can get onto the Kai'Sa, it's massive. We have seen it many a time from Touches engages. It's now here they go. 42 walking straight into the death bush. Good fight between worlds is crossed, but JJ is just trying to survive. Will walk straight into the Syndra and will fall down. But Virtuoso is now putting out a lot of damage. Has managed to kill off 1, 2, and now looking for more. Chrissy in the back like the Kai'Sa that you talked about has wreaked havoc and actually is the only one alive.
Quadra kill from Virtuoso. Sure, it may have been execute. You may have caught out Rexa, but you blew your entire barrage onto the frontliners of 42. JJ and Rexa keep the front line up for their main 2 carries, and this is the sign that 42 aren't out just yet. Virtuoso on the Smolder will get stronger and stronger from here on out, and getting the frontline catch is not enough for Unique anymore. They may have struggled too much to end the game while they were ahead, and now the gold lead is barely 2k. 42 has the priority over the Baron side vision. They have teleport on JJ and Virtuoso to play the rest of the map, clear the waves, and I don't know, J-Real. Unique are quickly running out of damage as well, considering Syndra's defensive itemization going for the Zonia instead of additional Magic Pen or even the Rabadons.
Yeah, the ideas are starting to run out because, I'll be honest, it looked so good for Unique, right? They managed to pick up 2 kills almost immediately. Then JJ going into the backline, getting absolutely obliterated by Dusty. And it was only Virtuoso and Chrissy left, but it was so much damage still available. Chrissy jumping into the backline, picking up the 2 remaining kills, and Virtuoso just able to do so much work to just kill off 4 members. Absolutely unbelievable. Yes.
They're sneaking the Baron.
They are sneaking the Baron. They're sneaking the Baron. And right now, 42, they're trying to get close enough to try and make something happen. Balmy looking for the steal. Doesn't go over the wall yet, but looking for it. Earthbreaker into the pit. Is there? Will he get the steal?
Again!
The steal! Between worlds utilized in 42. Surge forward. Carvis, they've made it happen. They brought the game back, and now they're in the lead.
They may not even be in the lead. They may have won the game. 30-second death time is still on every single dead member of Unique. They're marching forward, trying to keep Dusty from defending.
Rexa is trying to buy a little bit of time, as you said, stopping Dusty from getting back to base, stopping them from getting over to the wave, trying to keep them as far away as possible. 42, they're pushing forward. They have the grubs. They have some minions. They got to protect them. Dusty gonna buy some time with stasis, but Rexa is right there. They kill off the Syndra. They're going for the second tower. Banon History is back, but the damage isn't there. Not enough from Unique, and 42 take game 1.
I will never ever hear smolder slander from you ever again while we are in NLC Division 2. Every single time this character gets picked, whether it be Fruity Fresh, whether it be anyone, whether it be Brutosa, we have so many smolder players, it always performs.
Unique. I feel like Unique could have taken it home. They made some mistakes in the mid game. They gave over a massive opening to 42, and 42, credit to them. They grabbed it with both hands. They played it well. They made it happen. I've got to say, the Aurora definitely felt like it had some potential. The Between Worlds coming in pretty clutch in some of those team fights. But yeah, Carvis, the star of the show, the man of the moment, the little dragon that could, able to pick up some big wins there. Virtuoso really piloting and showing to me why the Smolder top is so dangerous. But Carvis, an exciting first game. What a way to kick off our playoffs upper bracket day 2. We're going to go to a quick break, though. When we come back, we'll have game 2 underway. A tough loss for Unique to swallow, but they got to come back ready to fight. And we are back to business here again. Me and Carvis, once again, getting you ready for game number 2. And I gotta say, Carvis, you know, like, I feel like 42 should take away a lot of good things from that game. I think that they were good in some aspects of the early game, especially around some of those early neutral objectives, getting those 4 grubs right, contesting the second dragon. But there is also an element of, like, you know, unique. They made a couple mistakes that opened up a big window for 42 to come back into that game.
A couple? I guess it could be called a couple if you consider the entire 3 or 4 minute sequence a singular mistake. But yeah, honestly, I think the game was in Unique's hands for quite some time there. But the initial catch onto Dusty in the mid lane that I think Chrissy and Bommy found, it started that entire sequence. And from there, it just snowballed out of control. Unique felt like they felt the time pressure of the smolder. And they weren't able to close it out until it was too late. The Aurora Ultimate paired up with the smolder AoE and true damage was just too much to deal with eventually. And I think they don't really need to change anything in draft. I think that's on 42. But they just need to make sure that they stay cool, they stay calm, and execute their own game plan again and close out the game properly.
I do agree. I think, as you said, and you made the point in the game, when they lost either their mid lane or their bot lane, it's just 50% of your damage is gone, right? And that's a dangerous thing to lose, you know. So when we did see Dusty go down, obviously then that started out the sequence of events that just did not go the way of Unique. And I do wonder again how they're going to kind of change that, because I agree with you. I don't think they need to change their pick and ban. I think their pick and ban was fine. I think that they had a really solid team. They could have definitely won the game, but it's about that kind of macro gameplay, about that awareness, about, okay, you know what, realistically, they lost that pick. They should have said, we're not going to go for this dragon. We're going to give this one up. We're going to just reset ourselves and come back to the game full strong, as we are going to see. Yeah, damn. Oh, we're already banned off the map.
Yeah, I think this is just a respect ban. Team fighting against Aurora is annoying, to say the least, if you want to play this sort of 5-on-5 click towards the enemy composition, because it just locks you in a cage of sorts that is really easy to shoot some skill shots into and stay away from the initial ball that is coming at you. And I can see why they would expend the extra ban there, but the Zeri, the 42, has identified a huge flex pick for Unique.
Yeah, I think getting rid of this area is fair. It harms Dusty, it harms Dead Hound. I think all in all, it just gives you a lot more comfort on the Rift. I will say there's still a lot open, right? I'm surprised Tristana isn't being picked up at all here, unless you know something that I don't. Like,
it's nerfed. The Q nerf is surprisingly effective at hindering the thing that Tristana does well, which is take mid lane priority by using the E on the cannon, pop your Q, and then clear the entire wave.
I guess for me, it's like sometimes things are nerfed, but they're actually not that much weaker, you know. And I guess that's kind of my thought process of maybe Tristana is still so strong that actually it could still be playable. But you know what? The hat's back out. The Corki's picked. We get it this time for Unique, so it's not going to be in JJ's hands. And with the Lucian gone, I do wonder what the counter is.
Real is another AD mid laner paired up with the Sejuani. Powerful enough. Should work fine. We've also seen Sivir show up occasionally in this matchup, especially in Korea. People have been cooking up the Sivir mid, go static ship, clear the entire wave in one go, and just be a really, really annoying mid laner to deal with. But yeah, this still could be a flex picks into either position. And interestingly, Unique decided to pick the Nautilus instead of Leona.
Yeah, I am surprised about that by quite a lot, because of the priority of that Leona for both of these sides. I'm a little bit shocked, to be honest, Carver. So also, I feel like Darrell was really, really solid. I'm surprised they didn't just go back into it, and they're gonna lock in the Aatrox. So Unique have set themselves what they wanted, and we're gonna see the Yone immediately answered after.
This should be top lane Yone. Just counter pick into the Aatrox, and they're gonna be duking it out. No more passive farming trying to scale up in the late game. That's going to be a very explosive top side matchup. Now it's all up to the JJ and gang to decide where this Ezreal will be going. Because if I remember correctly, Chrissy is a very apt Ezreal player as well. So this is a flex pick between mid and bot. They also need to figure out what they're gonna be pairing the support with, because I'm assuming Unique is going to throw out 2 support bans here.
Yeah, Chrissy definitely proficient on the Ezreal. I've liked watching them play a lot. I'm also surprised if Brom doesn't get banned here. Like, I get the Leona priority, but surely Brom has to go here, right? Really good with Ezreal, really good against Nautilus, and they've left it up, and I am a little bit surprised here.
So the thing about Brom is that you can't really engage with Brom. Brom is more of a peeling type of champion, or a secondary follow-up to an initial engage. That's why they're currently hovering. I think it's going to be the Rakan to provide the secondary engage with the Sejuani. Has a ton of things to dash to, gets easily into the enemy backline. Or, okay, I was ready to talk about the Renata, but the Rakan makes way more sense here. This does open up some possibilities for Unique to start counter-picking it with, though.
Yeah, I guess I just would have seen the Brom as like, okay, you stop your Ezreal from being ganked on even more. It works super well with Yone. It works super well with Sejuani. Sejuani can already be the engage. And it's very good against the Nautilus, but here we go.
I was just about to say Poppy. I was just about to...
Poppy going to be picked up. The industry has played a lot, right? It's definitely in the wheelhouse for sure, and goes pretty well against quite a few members of the 42 side. You not a fan?
Disgusting. I hate Poppy. I have so many cool dash champions, and I can't do anything. Yeah, this is a huge hindrance to the composition of 42. Now, all of a sudden, they don't have a way in other than the Sejuani ultimate, but all of their follow-up engage is in form of a dash, so they are going to have a rough time reaching anyone on the side of Unique, not to speak of the Obzir that was just locked in. Hold up. What is that? Okay. I think we're playing traditional League of Legends here. The double counter pick onto the Aatrox. I respect it. I respect. Just in case the Yone didn't work out, we're gonna counter pick you again.
I'm a little bit surprised that they went for Camille, to be honest, because Poppy is in the game. So I was expecting some sort of long range AP mage, right? I was expecting something maybe along the lines of a Syndra-esque. I guess Orianna could have also worked out. I think that even something as crazy as like maybe Xerath could have come through here. But at the end of the day, obviously it does depend on what people play. I think the Yone is definitely very strong, definitely has a lot of potential here. But I think with the Camille added in, it just strengthens Poppy's resolve even more. Now, Carves, you got the hat on, so you're the person most apt to talk about this. Corki down into the bot side. How are you feeling about that?
With paired up with an aggressive support, it just does what Corki does, but in a 2v2 lane, it's perfectly viable. I think Rusty Sniper was the one who initially in our league started pioneering that, just playing it down on the bot side instead of mid once the rework came out, and got some pretty good results with it. The thing about Corki bot though is that against Ezreal, you may have a harder time reaching the enemy AD carry before level 6. Sure, you can establish priority pretty well, but since level 6 will be late compared to mid, there is a window of opportunity for the enemy team to keep punishing the Corki with the jungler before he is that DPS monster that we are so used to him being.
Well, the teams have been picked. The game is on. Game number 2 is underway. Carves, I'm excited, right? The way that the first game ended, definitely not what I thought was going to be in the script. I thought it was going to be quite a simple walk-in for Unique, but that was very much not on the cards for 42. And we're now going to see them play once again. The pings on the Poppy already coming out there, and 42 very much reflecting your sentiment around the champion.
Yeah, I was looking at the draft, like, what junglers are left? What has Ananasti played in the past? And the instant I saw the Poppy, it was locked in, and I felt the horror that 42 is feeling at the moment. It's just annoying to play against.
But so are a lot of champions in League of Legends. So I feel like, is it the worst? You know, I definitely get it, right? I think especially against 42, there are 4 of the champions that it's going to block. So it's definitely going to play its role. It's definitely going to play its fight. But at the end of the day, it does have to still be piloted quite well. So I feel like 42 have a lot of potential to still win this game. I don't think the game is done just because of Steadfast presence. That would be completely broken. And Unique, I guess, have they learned their lesson, you know, about overstepping when the things are not going their way? Right now, JJ getting a deep ward in to spot out this Poppy, and they should be able to catch out Bannister on this one from the get-go. So junglers are opposing each other. Sejuani going to be clearing top to bot. Poppy going to be making their way up to the top side.
This initial ward may not even do too much if Bananesti wants to hide his pathing. He can just go into the brush and go behind the vision. Doesn't even care, just wants to keep the jungle clear as fast as he can. And we're gonna have to see how the Poppy wants to play the early game. One of the junglers that can go for the Jarvan-esque level 2 to 3 ganks pretty much anywhere on the map if they want to go aggressive. So that's why you see 42 early ward in the Trial Brush as well, in case the Poppy would be heading that way after the Krugs, but I'm not expecting too much early aggression anywhere except the top lane.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see. Obviously, we talked about the counter of the Camille into the Aatrox. I'm surprised that we're not seeing Balmeef play for the lane, especially considering how ungankable I feel like the Corki Nautilus really is. Like, yeah, there is a way where you could get in on it and you could get aggressive, as we are seeing some aggressive trading in that top side. But I feel like realistically, the top side and the mid lane are definitely where the action is going to be.
I think the reason why Balmeef is spamming bots is to make sure the Elreal survives the early laning phase. That's where the Corki Nautilus can be the most dangerous. And once they... Oh! Okay, Virtuo's taking a good chunk, but as I was saying, once the Ezreal is out of the early laning phase and gets the sheen and starts to be able to trade back, that's when Balmeef can reverse the jungle clear and start playing towards the top side, and that will be feeling pressure.
Yeah, right now, JJ trying to get a little bit of pressure onto Dusty, but not going to find it just yet. Wave pushing against them as well, so going to be a little bit more tricky, as we are seeing quite a deep invade from Touch there. We'll just get a ward down, not going to be spotted out or attacked, as Virtuzo recovering from a couple of those earlier trades, pushing that wave in, but needs to be fast because Banistry is in the vicinity and could definitely get a gank off.
There is a chance. Through the ward, it's going to be difficult. I think it's just going to be a split. Shuttle take into a reset from both sides. Balmeef actually, they're looking for a fight. What?
Yeah, Virtuzo is happy to stand and trade with Archfiend. I'm surprised. This is what I mean. I feel like Banistry could have potentially gone up top side and maybe threatened the Camille a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's not going to.
They're gonna punish the Poppy for overstaying his welcome at top side. They were waiting to see if Bananasti would be at the Raptors where he started his other jungle player. Instead, they take away the camp, take a later recall, but there's no way for this Poppy to basically invade the Sejuani.
Ooh, and the Poppy... I feel like the Poppy is assuming that they've also lost both their camps potentially because they're moving up. They're not going to go do that Krugs. And they are actually looking to maybe go to the Raptors of Balmeef. So I wonder if the Sejuani is going to try and combat that and meet the Poppy there, as Banistry is starting to move over.
Dusty has not recalled though. This is very risky. But if it works out, he doesn't lose a camp, and the jungle tempo is basically equal. What side now?
Ooh, Chrissy getting engaged on here. Knight is ticking over. Barrier going to be utilized, but no further trading. So really nice controlled aggression coming out there from Unique, and Balmeef, I'm pretty sure, was able to get some, if not most of that camp back. There's the Poppy there, still walking away with 7 camps secured. But now the Chrissy is going to get engaged on here. Deadhound moving forward. Valkyrie will be going forward. One more auto might do it, but the shield is going to give enough, and the space is too much. Unique almost finding the kill onto Chrissy, but not this time.
And that's the danger of the Corki. Even on the bot side of the map, you need to respect it. Especially since it's a longer lane, you won't be able to get away too easily. Oh, you touch though!
Talking about respect, Touch needs to. Will be able to dodge away from the Rakan, and now Deadhound with a lot of damage over the top, able to cause some problems for Rexap, but the movement is just not enough, and Deadhound picks up the first kill. Balmeef needs to try and get something for this. Splashes for the double, the whip coming down, and will take 2.
I don't think Tush saw that coming. It's sold by his AD carry. That top side is
we're not done. It's right now. The top side in big trouble. Virtuzo, I think, is going to be cooked here. Archfiend and Banistry just keeping them away from the tower, and the sword brings down the Justice.
Great flash by Bananasti to catch the hook shot escape. With no flash, Virtuzo was a sitting duck for that gang. Lane pushed up a little bit too far. Will keep being frozen in front of Archfiend's tower. And Unique, fairly clean in the early game once again, other than the unfortunate incident. Balmeef, speak of the devil, and he appears again, contesting the Void Grubs.
Yeah, we'll actually not get any of them, right? Only gets the one there, doesn't steal away that second one from the Poppy. So Banistry still in good set to get themselves 4 grubs if they can only pick up 2 in the next rotation. But I guess the same question could be asked for 42. If they can clear them up, they themselves will be able to secure the buff once again. the second time in the series. So with that being said, early Drake still not been secured here. 7 minutes into the game, a little bit later than what we saw last time around. At the moment, it is a little bit unclear as to who's going to go for it, because I will say Unique still have quite a strong bot lane, but 42 definitely looking a little bit more stronger on the rotations as JJ going to get aggressive onto Dusty. We'll just be able to go back to Soul Unbound, but a pretty even trade from the Azir.
Pretty even trade. Dusty has the fleet support, does provide some extra sustain. Rexit doesn't have extra sustain other than the Q, so these trades can't take too many of those before it starts being dangerous.
Oh, and the dive, and Nisri is here, going to start moving forward. Doesn't manage to get the block with the steadfast presence, but either way, forcing 42 back, putting that pressure down as right now. The Yone fate sealed and the glacial prison. JJ able to secure the kill with Balmeef. It will be the Sejuani that takes it though. 3-0 at the moment. Not necessarily the scoreline you'd want, given the carries have 0 of the kills.
Clean gank from Balmeef and JJ. Was looking a little dangerous considering the HP pool, but they get it done. Interestingly, all of the kills so far in the game for 42 have gone onto the Sejuani. So that first item is going to be really fast considering Sejuani nowadays builds most of the support items. But the carries are going to be a bit starved of gold, still being matched by the respective opponents quite well. Only dead count being behind in CS. And the Trinity Force power spikes is where this bot side is going to start opening up. And as I said before, Dragon still has been taken, and that's due to the bot lanes not being able to establish a clear priority where the opponents don't start wailing away into their faces.
Balmeef now helping Virtuoso finally in this lane. Obviously, we talked about the Camille being the counter to the Aatrox, but because of Ministry, I feel like the Aatrox definitely had the better of this laning phase. As Unique still putting pressure on that bot side, and it's feeling very reminiscent of last game covers, right? Where a lot of the lanes are winning for Unique. 42, they are getting some extra plays off the kind of flipping the tide of the game back and forward. But all in all, it does feel like Unique have the pressure and they have the momentum on their side.
And the top lane matchup reminiscent in more ways than one, because this is a matchup where Aatrox can do quite well in the early game, as we've seen Archfiend completely dominating Virtuoso, even with a Knight on his side. It's in the later stages of the game, however, where Camille starts to take over, but not like this.
Ooh. Not with the Poppy as well, you know. Bad history is just going to make this one impossible for Virtuoso to play, and Archfiend will be able to secure another kill. So the Aatrox now 2-0 up, putting in that work, and also a massive wave missed by the Camille.
And this is where 42 needs to alleviate some of the pressure that this Aatrox is doing, because if this keeps happening and Archfiend keeps getting plates and keeps getting kills and making this Camille basically useless, it doesn't matter how well 42's rest of the team plays. Chrissy and JJ will just get run down by a super fed Aatrox, supported by the rest of his team, of course, but it's forming to be a major problem that 42 has to put resources into sooner than later.
Yeah, because the rest of the map not really finding any kills. Yes, the Sejuani has 3, but that's not going to be the answer when the World Ender is procced. So next item on the agenda is the Grubs. I feel like, again, a lot of potential is being put towards it from 42, which has me a little bit surprised. I would have thought that given all of the top lane potential, Unique may be played for this.
They Unique are looking for something. I don't know exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah, what?
The dragon is up in 4 minutes. They're just giving this away for free.
Grubs for a Gromp? Like, I don't know. The maths is not mathsing to me, Carvers. You know, like, you haven't even got the dragon. You haven't got Grubs, and this will open up for the first Grub. I guess the first tower could be what they're playing for here. They should be able to secure it with the trade for Grubs, but I don't know. I just feel like it was a little bit of an interesting decision.
That's the word I would use as well. And Archfiend is there. So Johnny ult goes wide. It's
Could
just awkward trading at the moment between the two teams. Rex's getting
but
caught.
this time it's going to get even more awkward. Rex's going to have to flash away. Will utilize quickness as well. At the moment,
what is going on?
To shape up, but yeah, Unique. They need to learn from the last lessons of, you know, don't give away the lead that you've built. And it does feel like they're just handing out 42 some free moments of gameplay to give them these buffs that they just do not deserve.
Well, they definitely got them, and with this recall being interrupted once again, Archfiend needs to delay his phase a little bit. Going to commit.
Oh, this could be it. This could be the moment. This could be what they're waiting for. Archfiend in big trouble here now. The Hexing Ultimatum locks him in. Camille gets the kill, but
JJ?
is it going to be a turnaround? It is going to be a turnaround in the mid lane. Deadhound going to find the kill onto JJ. The rotations of the bot lane from Unique early. They are able to pick up one kill. So 1 for 1, but the Camille getting a kill there, I feel like, Carvis, is a massive moment in this game as Badnistry has walked a little bit too far into Balmi's jungle and has found the ball.
Yeah, they're going to defend the mid lane tower, but as that top lane skirmish was going on, JJ somehow got caught by the Unique bot lane rotating over to the grubs that don't exist anymore. They were a little bit late on the rotation, but it worked out. They got a kill from themselves. Now they need to deal with this mid lane pressure though. Deadhound and Touch are just rotating all over the map, utilize the Corgi Trinity fortify.
Oh, and Soul Unbound is gonna get JJ completely back, but no TP means that they will be missing quite a lot of the wave, and there is now pressure on the fact that this top tower could go down towards Dusty as Touch now happily clearing that ward. Rex are going to get themselves out of a sticky situation too, and in the wings is Archfiend.
Unique needs to make something happen here. There's a couple of minutes, as long as they can force Chrissy to not recall and keep up the pressure, where they have the Trinity Force on their AD carry and 42 don't. Same with the mid lanes. JJ already really low, maybe before.
That's sad. That's sad, and it might get sadder as well. Rex are getting caught out as well. It does feel like 42 maybe a little bit misconstrued, maybe a little bit lost. Someone give them a map, because at the moment they are falling into all of the traps that Unique are setting. Every single moment they're being punished time and time again. Archfiend going to utilize the World Ender. Will not get anything for it, but all in all, pressure handed back over to Unique. Next dragon in 55 seconds. And that Herald going to be picked up by the Poppy as well as Archfiend finding Balmi. A bit of a weird aggression from the Sejuani as well. Like, yes, okay, you're going to lose the control ward, but you don't really have the backing here. Okay, maybe you do now that Chrissy has jumped over, and they will force the flash out of Archfiend. No, a little bit of a strange one, Carvis. The sequence of events not necessarily matching what I was expecting.
It is a strange one, but with the ultimate used from Balmif, and they used a ton of resources to try and catch the Aatrox out. Bananyaste has this entire time been working on a day of work on the Rift Herald side of things, securing the objective for Unique. And this is perfectly in time to play for the Dragon, already converging into the mid lane, utilizing Deadhound to his fullest potential. Chrissy still hasn't recalled. Doesn't have the Trinity Force, no mana underneath the tower farming, so another objective pretty much free for Unique to take.
Now, admittedly, if you're 42, I don't think you're too sad about this one, right? It's a trade of the Dragons. You've already secured one for yourself, so you're not going to be too sad about it. Again, if there was a win condition of Soul Point, it's not going to be for another 15 minutes, so that will take us to 31. But this might make them shed a little tear, as here comes the Rift Herald, going to crash into the tower. The tier 1 will be destroyed. Unique now going to look for a second charge as well. So very reminiscent of last game, Carvis, getting that early tower aggression, getting those plays. But this time it is being matched a little bit more by 42, as we are going to see a tier 2 traded in the mid lane. Rexat is going to go low, not going to go down, but Archfiend swooping in, going to force away any sort of resistance from 42.
They're just committing for the goal. They want to get these towers back, and with Balmi and JJ not able to defend, they could get converged on here. As Touch is looking. Balmi super fast, JJ not so much.
JJ is in a very difficult position here. 4 members. It's yeah, it's not where you want to be. Not where you want to be at all.
That was like, where's Waldo, but he's wearing bright pink.
To be fair, I think in Where's Water that wouldn't really help. Everything is like red and white, so I feel like pink would also not help.
it would be like a very bright radical pink. What is the easiest color to spot?
Green.
Green? Does it really stand out? Well,
green is the opposite of red, so I would think so. But right now, we're talking about people that stand out. Archfiend, surrounded by 3 members of 42, suffering the same fate as JJ there in the top side.
People are just getting caught out.
Yeah. What's happening?
It keeps happening. Well, on the bot side of the map, Unique looking for revenge. Trying to see if they could catch up Bertoza here, but has the support of the rest of the team. JJ! Cut! What are they doing?
JJ and Touch both making some different decisions as 42 are starting to mobilize. So this time it won't just be a pick, it actually could be a team fight, but it is going to be a tier 2 tower taken. And again, I'm a little bit surprised, Carvis. You know, I feel like some plays are happening that I wasn't necessarily expecting to see. A little bit of maybe missed decisions or missed timing from some teams, but I think the page will be reset as we do get towards that dragon. 2 minutes 40 on the clock. I think that is going to be the big objective that people play for.
There's a great flank ward for the dragon on the pixel brush on the bot side river from 42 though, so this may come into play later on. A teleport available for both JJ and Bertoza, so if they can make it so that Unique gets onto the dragon first and they approach from the mid lane hook, there could be a major flank coming in, and if they catch Dusty or Deadhound, all of a sudden the 3k gold lead is not that much. What is hold on, there's a Muramana almost done on Deadhound. Maybe it might be quite a bit.
I was thinking about how this is going to play out in the late game, right? Because I think flanks will obviously change the game a lot. If JJ and Virtuoso can obviously get onto Deadhound and Dusty, then the game is going to change, right? Because yes, okay, Archfiend has been brought up here now, so there are 3 sources of damage versus the 2 from last game. But either way, your carries are squishy still in that backline and could be removed. But I feel like once again, 42 do have a tough team fight to play versus Unique. So again, it does feel like we're relying on Unique to make a mistake, and we'll see if they've learned from the last game.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, the late game is going to be a problem for Unique as Bertoza is getting stronger and stronger. As the game is going though, they are in the position to make so that the game never goes there, where Bertoza has scaled up and becomes the monster.
Malmeef is going so aggressive here, but they might actually find a massive play. The quickness is going to come through and charm multiple members, but the Emperor's Divide buying a lot of space. Here comes JJ though into the backline. But this three so low will finally fall to Malmeef as Dusty, the next target, but just stands strong. Rexat diving in, but does not connect, and it is an absolute bloodbath across the top. Matuso goes in. Archfiend looking to clean up. Can he do it? Chrissy and JJ standing strong. The knockoff is too much damage, but JJ, the last man standing.
The Chrissy versus Archfiend team fight. Initial beautiful catch from Bomif and Rexit, burning the cleanse from the Corki, followed up by the Rakan engage, but the damage wasn't there yet. They were waiting to ramp up teleports in from everyone into a full-on bloodbath, but in the end it comes down to Chrissy hitting literally everything, picking up all the kills until it's just Archfiend left, but the Aatrox proves to be too strong, picks himself up a triple kill to match Chrissy. And yeah, the fact that JJ got poppy ulted before is the only reason why 42 comes out ahead. Joining the fight again later on is able to finish off Archfiend, but it's still a huge gold swing to the 2 carries on both sides of the map, and this makes the following fights even more explosive. The dragon has already spawned.
We've seen it happen before, we've seen it maybe happening again. 42 coming into a game that feels so Unique favored, and as we said, this time around the late game is starting to look scarier and scarier for 42, so Unique need to watch their backs. They will be able to pick up this dragon here uncontested. They will secure that one. But what a fight, Carvis. And I gotta say, I love the fights, but it was over nothing.
It literally was over nothing. It was just fame and kills that they were fighting over, showing some of that Division 2 mechanical prowess that we occasionally are famous for. But the objectives, again, just going to Unique's favor. 42 is just having a hard time securing a position around the objectives where they force a contestation, as they don't really have the objective DPS just yet to force the Baron down.
Maybe not the damage just yet. Maybe in a couple of items, right? I think the Yone can definitely do a lot of DPS. So if they get to 3 items, they get that crit up, maybe they can do enough. Yeah, I do agree. The Ezreal, not necessarily the most notorious. And I think the threat of Archfiend diving forward as the Aatrox is maybe a little bit too scary for the moment.
The Aatrox is overall just a huge problem for the game plan of 42. Because of the triple kill, Vertozo is going to take even longer to be able to match up on the side lane. He's supposed to be this threat that forces you need to commit to either the objective or the side lane to catch him out. But until he's able to consistently solo kill Archfiend without it being a 50-50 flip, it's just too risky to go for, because a loss on a side lane in a 1v1 could just end the game right there and there.
Right now, though, play around this tier 1 tower. I do wonder how much poke we can get off from Chrissy, as right now not able to land too much damage. Hook gonna slightly miss from touch there. And Archfiend posturing to go aggressive here, but gonna have to step back. A little bit of damage has been pulled off, but I think at the moment Unique, they're just buying the time. They're looking for that engage, but in the long range war, I do feel like 42 are at the advantage.
We're just dancing. Unique though, they feel like they may have to force 42 to commit to something.
Seen it before, we'll see it again. Baron, though, absolutely obliterating the HP. The charm gonna land in the backline, but the Emperor's Divide holding them off. Tuzo onto Deadhound, though. The Corki is in big trouble and will go down. The Poppy finally knocks them away, but it's a little bit too late. Archfiend, though, with the kill, able to keep the reset. The damage is raining in, but here comes Tuzo over the wall to slay the beast. The giant is gone. Tuzo now looking for Baron history. The hookshot gonna land, and here comes Balmeeth to lock up the damage. It's all too much. The Poppy falls and the Baron is open. It will not be taken though just yet, although Vertuzo does have TP, so maybe the start is now.
Not only does Vertuzo find Deadhound and keep him in place for the rest of the team to take Corki down, Chrissy is having an Ezreal masterclass this entire game, just playing the team fights beautifully. We're going to talk about that later though, because teleports are coming in.
Dusty in a bad position, but another TP is coming, but it's around 5 members.
What is this?
No. Archfiend will be able to jump away for a little bit more time, buying space. Flashes away from the frozen gauntlet. Oh, sorry, the frozen prison. And right now, Unique, they're on the run. They have to get away. Hextech Ultimatum locks down touch, and it should be in a short kill onto the support. The hook to buy space, the flash, but it's not enough. The final sweep from Vertuzo will pick up that kill. And once again, 42, they're going aggressive, but look at the mid lane, and it's being traded. It's a 1-for-1 right now in terms of potential towers, but it's actually the inhib that's going to fall. And 42, is this a full-on base race we're getting here? Right now, they see the Corki, they're going to start to base. The inhib has been traded, but 42, they have such a big wave here, but they're not going to keep pushing.
Azure Tower there to defend against the incoming Yone. And, yeah, somehow, some way over that horrible teleport, let's just say it, Unique manages to get the mid lane towers, mid lane inhibitor, to trade for their top side ones. They got away somehow, some way from that. Just straight up throw at the Baron area. Now they have priority over the Dragon Pit, but they need to deal with the monster that Chrissy is on these 3 items on the Ezreal.
And it's a monster. We've seen Chrissy in some big games this season pull off massive plays on this Ezreal, as right now, here goes the jungle of the Poppy, has removed the Sejuani from the fight. The dragon has been
got it
by Chrissy, and now the big engage line. Better History will be falling surely, but actually stays alive. Dusty, though, will not face the same fate. Goes down, and once again, 42 clutch up Carvis.
Chrissy heard us praising Bertozzo for carrying the team in their previous comeback, and now he's proving that he can do it as well. Was it a mystic shot that stole the dragon? I didn't even spot it out as, yeah, they went for the Hail Mary dragon commitment. It got stolen away. They lose the team by... It seems like 42 doesn't even need the side lane threat. All they need is for someone to keep Dusty and Deadhound in place, whether that be through the Hex Ultimatum or the additional ultimates provided by Bommy for Rexit. But JJ and Chrissy are more than enough to take everyone down. And I'm struggling to figure out a way how Unique can catch the Ezreal without expending way too many resources on it.
And it's a very similar situation to what we had last game, right? Unique in the lead, makes some mistakes. 42 with the better late game, start to pick up these team fights, and explosive team fights lead to explosive momentum changes in the game. Right now, if we look at the tower situation, it's pretty much even. I think one tower extra actually on the side of Unique, but in terms of pressure around the map, I feel like it is almost equal considering how far 42 are behind as well, Carvis. It's a lot has changed. Now 2 minutes 20 on this next Baron. I feel like the next site of potentially the final fight of the game.
The story is just whoever wrote the script for this series needs to change it up a little bit, because this is starting to repeat itself. It's sure different champions, but there's no way 42 does it again, right? They don't even have an infinite scale. Sure, they have good late game, but most of their damage has just come from Chrissy dodging everything and hitting everything. He's just been an absolute monster when it comes to these late game team fights. And sure, they have the Poppy to prevent engages, but it just hasn't come into play. Most of these team fights, you see Rexit and Balmy find multiple members with their ultimates, with their knockups. And the Poppy's supposed to be preventing that, but it's just not happening.
And we've also got to talk about the adaptive helm on the Yone, right? The Yone is doing a lot of damage, but also
I see someone has been playing some TFT lately, haven't you?
Is it not called adaptive helm anymore?
It's Jack Show.
Oh my day. Yeah, I have been playing a lot of TFT. Damn, I've been caught out. Don't clip it. No, that's fair enough. Yeah, Jack Show. Yep, adaptive helm, you know, it is what it is. And right now, though, we can move on from that because the team fight has begun. And this time, the tanks are tanking. Deadhound, though, needs to be careful of that backline. However, Unique, they're losing from the front. Their carries are starting to get jumped on because their tanks are down. But it's a 1-for-1 so far. Support for support. 42 just not able to get into that backline just yet.
And with the wave clear that Dusty is providing, they should be able to defend this mid-outer tower. No way for 42 to approach safely. And yes, that team fight was pretty much all Unique wanted. Poppy standing in the front line with a steadfast presence, preventing anyone from reaching the back line. Sure, Chrissy was able to hit over the wall, but all he reached was tanks at the front line, so Dusty and Deadhound were able to wail away at Rexit 1-for-1 the trade. But the Baron, up in 15 seconds, is going to force some sort of a commitment from one of the teams.
Unique starting to show some composure in these team fights. That last team fight definitely going a lot better for them, but both objectives spawning. 3 seconds on the Baron, 40 seconds on the Dragon. Now, Soul Condition, I feel like is not really going to be met in this game unless we go for another 10 minutes, Carvis, which I don't really see. But the Baron is definitely going to be a massive win condition, and we're already seeing 42 started. But Chrissy is taking so much damage from this.
Yep. With no lifesteal, all of this damage is going to stick. Sure, there's some honey for to play with, but they're just going to sneak it. They're just going to sneak it.
No way.
They got it.
Oh my days, they snuck the Baron. The Ezreal and the Camille and Unique, they just had no idea because Balmy was just in the mid lane. Why would you do a Baron without your jungler?
And now they're even going to be on time for the Dragon. Bombi never left the mid lane. They're going to be pushing in with the Baron minions. Okay, never mind. It's falling way too fast to actually contest. But what they can do is try to catch Unique out of positions. They're going to be rotating the long way around with the long recalls. Even the Ezreal ultimate reading perfectly where Dusty's recalling another 7 seconds before the Azir can participate. Mid lane inhibitor almost surely gone.
And the Grubs also setting up a bit more time. But Nistri, though, trying to get on this flank, trying to get a big ultimate. Will be able to knock away multiple members. The flashes and dashes able to get them out of the vicinity. Bad Nistri taking a lot of damage in the front line. As here comes the rest of the team. 42, they're mobilizing. Deadline is so low in the backline, but still fighting off, doing damage. But it's not enough. It's not going to happen. 42, they've done it again, Thomas. They're going to win game 2.
Overcommitment by Unique. They thought they caught the double carry. JJ and Chrissy running away for dear life, but they catch the Yone, the tankier member of the two that deals less damage. Chrissy got away once again and carried the team fight. Second ultimate melts the health pass. And 42, if they reach 30 minutes, seem unstoppable in this series.
I can't tell if it's draft if, I can't tell if it's played it. Like, do you feel like it's maybe a draft thing? Do you feel like they're just compositionally better in the late stages? Or is it just how they're playing these team fights?
This is macro and team fighting diff when it comes to later stages of the game. It just feels like 42, maybe they're more practiced in scrims when it comes to late game decision making and team fighting, whether they're just really comfortable there. But after the first initial 20 minutes where Unique seem really good and have managed to get themselves a consistent advantage in, something just flips.
Yeah.
And 42 start playing like madmen.
Whether you thought game 1 was a fluke or not, game 2 definitely followed a similar pattern, but with much more control from 42. They've taken the second game of the series now, 2-0 up, by the way. One win would take them through to the upper bracket to take on Rich Gang and will knock Unique down to the lower stages. Will it happen? You'll have to find out after the break. We're going to go to a short break now. We're going to come back for game number 3, which could be the last game tonight. And we are back again for what could be our last game. And I'm so shocked that I'm even having the potential to say this, Carvis, because I expected this series, to be so close between these two teams. And I feel like a lot of the games have been, but anytime we get past 25 minutes, 42 just seem to gain a buff, and Unique just can't seem to step up.
I don't know what's going on. There might be a macro drift. There might be just overall team late game comfortability diff. Something is happening that is making the game a little bit weird. And Unique are starting to attempt and adjust where they are heading to the red side. But yeah, as you said, we were expecting this to be a whole lot closer, considering that Unique finished the regular season above 42 with a better record, and overall looked very strong throughout the entire season, while 42 started to pick up the pace towards the later stages. And I don't know. It's definitely going to be a game of momentum now. Either Unique gets the red side win and starts to pick up the pace, or 42 closes it out in a clean 3-0.
Yeah, which is, as we said, not the anticipation, right? 3-0 is not how I would have called the score. 3-1, I can see. But I can see a 3-1 between these two teams, but a 3-0, definitely not my anticipation. But 42, they're gunning for it. And I have to say, Unique, it's going to be very difficult for them to kind of turn around what's happening if it's not a simple error. But the fact that it's happened twice now in two different games, back to back, tells me that, hey, something is going on. Now, I will say game one was a much closer issue, right? They just made a bad set of plays over about 3 or 4 minutes, right? It happens. It can be stopped. But in the second game, it felt that not only were the plays that they made not reoccurring, but actually it was now 42 that were just making a lot of macro plays that made Unique look like they were making mistakes. And realistically, it's kind of asking that question of, what do Unique change? Because they've not got a lot of time. 10 minutes between games. You're not going to change all of your macro notions and how you play the game.
I think the red side thing is one. That's a good place to start, where you adjust the draft a little bit, adjust maybe the things that you bait 42 to pick, because now you have R5 counter pick, and you can kind of stop Bertoza from getting these game-ruining picks where the Smolder initially turned into a problem. Then the Camille kind of started locking you down with these Hextech ultimatums, and it just feels like the red side counter picks have proved to be quite annoying for Unique to deal with. So while in this particular meta we'd consider blue to be favored, and you get these powerful AD carries, you get these powerful flex picks, secure themselves for yourself. In this matchup of the teams, red side may actually have an advantage.
Okay, well, we'll see how this one plays out. Right now, though, we're going to go back to the bans. We are going to see some similar occurring pickups here. The Ivan, the Maokai, the Lilia, and now the Ezreal, actually. Interesting swap there from Unique.
Knitting a respect ban, Chrissy just played it to an absolute T. It was beautiful to watch. Occasionally you get these solo queue Ezreals that like occasionally hit an auto attack perhaps, but Chrissy just hit everything. Literally all the skill shots, all the abilities, found the targets, and the DPS was noticeable.
Yeah, and actually no longer going to be allowed the Aatrox either. Aurora is back up, if that's what you're thinking.
So is Lucian.
Ooh.
Lucian, I think, escapes the draft for the first time, but they go for the Aurora instead. Okay.
Respect. I like it. I like that they've gone for it because it gives me that feeling of like, you know what, they're confident with the pick. They've definitely practiced, they've played it. They're not just saying, oh, we'll just win it off of a random pickup here. The Orianna going to be the counter. Zeri is also still left open in this matchup here, so I do wonder if that does get picked up by Unique. But Vi is going to be the lock in there, giving Bannister some early game power.
Yeah, and they also get a very nice ball carrier. This is not or a Nocturne level of ball carrier, but it's still fairly good. What I'm left to wonder here is where is this Aurora gonna go if they pick up the brand? There's a Wombo combo in there somewhere as well, but this is more of the thing that I expected. Secure the Leona. Maybe even pick up the Lucian if you want to play it, or if you feel like it's not that strong, you could even pick the Zeri away from Unique. Pairs pretty well with characters like Leona and Aurora.
Yeah, you could also go back to the Kai'Sa. You know, it looked really good for Chrissy before. Like, I don't see why there's any reason why you should shy away from it. But right now, the Volibear going to be locked in there. So again, potentially showing top lane, potentially showing jungle here. A little bit of mystery is being given up there, so Unique will have to make some decisions, as I believe this is probably... Oh, I was going to say this was going to be their support, but they've gone for Cassante, so they've just locked in that top side.
So there's an option here where they put this Volibear into the top side, kind of reduce the ganking and combo potential of the Leona, Volibear, Sun Chain. But they get an instantly winning matchup into the Cassante, who will never be able to match up against the Road of Ages, Nabori, Volibear. There's also the option of forcing this Cassante to go full magic resistance by putting the Aurora top lane and picking up 280 carries for yourself from here.
Ooh, it's a lot of a lot of theory crafting there, a lot of 400 IQ moments, as we are going to see the bans coming through. The Smolder actually banned away by 42, so they're not going to go for the Smolder top anymore. We can assure that one for definite. And the Ashe also banned away. So quite a few ADCs I imagine are going to be taken off the board, which maybe does dissuade that potential of going for that plan that you said, Aurora top and then drafting in 2 ADCs.
No, okay, so targeting Virtuoso's pool. What else is there that he could... the Camille is always there. I guess you could even go Aatrox into these 3 champions. It's just that the Aatrox could get kind of messed up if the support pick is something that... Something like Alistar could be really annoying to deal with, but...
I think Alistar is good. It goes well. Nice. Good call. Good call. Good call. it goes well into the Leona, right? Like, it stops her getting the early engages off so easily. It's also a very good ball delivery system, right? So there is a lot of potential with the Alistar. I like the pick a lot in general. So them selecting it's no real surprise to me. They've left open their ADC as their last pick, which is definitely not what I expected coming out from Deadhound, unless we're seeing Deadhound play Orianna bot lane, but that's not necessarily what's on my mind. And so we are going to see the Zeri locked in. So no Zeri for Unique here. A big shift, actually, in what I would have expected from the teams, with 42 blocking in that Zeri.
Zeri Lucian would be the Giga Chad maneuver here. Just take all the 80 carries away and ask Unique, what are you going to do now? You banned one of the main utility 80 carries. Smolder is gone, they would be kind of forced to go for something like a Kai'Sa, but do they have enough damage if they go? Oh! Pyramid? Maybe? Perhaps?
So I was thinking maybe they go for a hyper carry like a Jinx or a Sivir in that bot lane. They're looking at Felios as well. Felios could do that. Draven would be crazy, by the way. If they lock in Draven, it'd be a bit dumb. But yeah, Jinx going to be picked up here. So they are sticking to the script that we kind of expected. They've gone for that classic 2-carry setup. But the carries are quite easy to lock down, I'll be honest. So there is a little bit of an issue there. And you've called it, Covers. You are the 400 IQ today of draft.
The Sivir mid, though. There's a reason why I love this here. The enemy's main engage is Vi. You are not going to be able to catch this Sivir out easily. As long as JJ keeps his spell shield up, you're not going to be able to get ganked to the Vault Breaker just going up. And the damage is not going to be enough once Sivir starts running away. And not only that, the enemies are short range enough where the Sivir is constantly going to be able to auto attack, and they want to team fight as well. So the Ricochet is kind of going to be just bouncing into everyone except maybe the Jinx. I just love this Sivir pick here.
Yeah, I think 3 melees is when you're like Sivir is putting on a show, you know. Obviously the Boomerang Blade also going to be quite dangerous to those squishier targets, but as you said, the Ricochet definitely where the power is going to be. You know what, I've grown a lot of respect for JJ over this series. You know, I feel like this person, they've managed to make a lot of different picks work. They've looked really good on these new picks, and you know what, 42 all in all, they're hard to draft against because they seem to have an answer to everything. They've shown us Smolder, they've shown us Aurora. We're getting Aurora top now. We're not even just getting it in the mid lane again. We got Sivir coming out. So I feel like the adaptability is really having them again once more in a good position come that late game. And the power is now onto Unique. Can Unique play themselves through this whole game? They've consistently got leads in the early game. Can they take that through to the mid? They've got the Jinx, they've got the Orianna. They should be pretty set for that late game.
It's all going to be on touch as we head to Rift to see how the level 1 plays out.
And we are, as here we go.
Look at the amount of fleet footworks on the side of 42. They're gonna be running at fast.
It's a speedy game, man. Like, why not? To be fair, it works so well on all of the members, right? Because either all ADCs or they're all range, so they can kind of keep those attacks and get themselves moving. I do wonder how this top side goes, though, because Archfiend was able to do quite a lot of work against the Smolder. I do wonder how that's going to stick up against the Aurora.
So let me look up this very handsome and great top laner called. Carvis played a similar matchup in an Aurora top lane, and yeah, this matchup looks pretty damn good. It basically forces the first item to be Kenny Crooked, which you don't really want to build against double AD carry if you want to participate in the team fights anytime soon. And Aurora, being a character that loves to be more of a utility type of mage, like in the later stages of the game, investing that heavily into a matchup that you don't really end up playing in the later stages of the game, since Sivir will be clearing all the side waves, is really painful to watch.
But can they overcome it? That's the big question here, and I feel like the biggest thing, to be honest, for Unique is just that mid to late game, right? We need to see them shore that one up. I think proactivity for me is what I want to see from them the most as we get to that later stage, because it feels like when we get past 25 minutes, there's always 42 pulling the trigger first, and Unique just never really being on the same page when they decide to make a team fight.
Speaking of pulling the trigger, look at the volley back.
Oh no. Oliver on the invade. Balmeef. Why a bit stronger than Man in History, I would say, level 2. Although, has walked over, did reset the blue buff, and Man in History is still very much in their jungle, but we're now going to see that Leona starting to rotate. And Balmeef does need to be a little bit careful here, although does have smite, so shouldn't be able to lose this one away. And with JJ as well moving over, all of 42 have just said, you know what, actually, we're not going to let you have the early game either. You're just going to get the opportunity of maybe doing a 42 gameplay move against us.
Like, Vi is not a weak early game champion, but when you have Sivir constantly shoving in the mid wave, you have Zeri Leona just queuing the wave time and time again, establishing lane priority, and a Volibear to counter jungle you. There's no challenging that. But NLC has to take the L and will get basically 3 buff. Just has to figure something out when it comes to tempo advantage. This is the issue with Sivir though. Sivir in the early stages of the game is not the strongest AD carry.
Definitely does suffer. As right now on this bot side, Rexat taking a decent amount of damage from Deadhound here, using that extra range as JJ is going to be able to stay for this wave, but Bananistri is on the hunt. Here comes the Vault Breaker. Vi with the quick and easy kill in the mid lane.
Blind Q as well, I think. Just may have seen the recall come out, but now Valmif has something to say about this.
Oh, the block on the knockaway, and now it's on. The bear is rising. One more bite, and it will be all too much. Bananistri did pick up first blood, but will be paying with it with their life and maybe a little bit of their jungle as well, as the bear is starting to roar.
The mid lane play really good for Bananistri to recognize the potential of a dive there, even through the Sivir spell shield. If you don't know the buy is coming, you're not going to be ready to spell shield the incoming Vault Breaker. However, in the jungle will be a big bear looking for anyone who he can find after level 6. I didn't manage to check the runes if we're gonna see the Rod of Ages Navori Jack of all trades build. No, this is probably gonna be just a regular old tank Volibear. Interesting. So
I'm not against it, because I was thinking about that. Like, obviously, top lane Volibear goes kind of the mixture of everything, right? AP, damage, all of that stuff. But I feel like jungle Volibear being tanky is still pretty strong.
Yeah, and they do need the front line to work with Leona. Rexit won't be happy if he's the only one tanking all the damage, and will be easily be peeled away by the Alistar or the Cassante, while Balmy can just turn unstoppable for a moment and start wreaking havoc in the back lines. And he can pretty much really approach this dragon. I don't think, even though Deadhound and Touch are looking for something,
I like the posturing, but I don't know if it was enough. Although saying that, the knockback is pretty big onto Rexat. Gonna go pretty low. The ignite there, but Deadhound is flashing forward. No way does he go for this. Will get the kill, but loses their life. And the wave state as well. Both summoners, I don't know about that one, Carvis.
A very costly trade. Whether it is worth it to accelerate the Jinx power spike into the mid game remains to be seen, but there's a huge window of opportunity for 42 to punish Deadhound and Touch now, since, as you said, both summoners gone on a very immobile AD carry, and Touch only has one headbutt. If there is a Volibear and a Leona coming at you, you're only going to be able to save one unless you are playing perfect League of Legends on the support side of things.
And if we think about timing as well, okay, Flash coming up at around the 10-minute mark, maybe even like 10 minutes 30. The Volibear is going to be level 6. The wave can get pushed in, the dive can happen, and force Deadhound into an even worse situation.
Yeah. Ball is in 42's park at the moment, and they're instead looking for mid lane. Dusty's getting picked off.
Rexa is being looked at by Unique. Trying to get the slowdown with the zap, as Valmif is making their way down with JJ. Again, another play that might turn around against Unique, because they're grouped up and the damage is absolutely massive. Chrissy with a double, might even go for more, decides against it. But Unique handing these leads on a plate towards 42, and Chrissy's not done. Another kill, another bit of gold, another lead for 42.
And not only that, the earlier gank in the mid lane got Dusty's flash. So now they have two different immobile carries that they can keep on punishing with Balmeef's level 6 plays. Like, compared to the first two games, which were fairly standard from Unique, looking at this, it feels like they're a couple of patches late. Dusty now under heavy pressure.
Ooh, gonna have to just walk away. Balmeef gonna assist getting the first plate of the tower. A little bit of extra damage to Dusty as well on the way out. And Banistry gonna go back to the grubs, but I believe has only taken one so far.
Is gone. But with the Aurora constantly shoving in the mid wave of Archfiend, having a rough time holding on to the lane priority.
Really nice chompers there. They'll stop Rex out from getting onto Deadhound, which I think could have potentially been death sentence. You know, maybe not be playing Thresh, but definitely could have led to Deadhound being put in the Nexus once again. As right now, we're going to force through this wave, and the Volibear is in a pretty close vicinity, Carvis. So maybe we set up for the start.
The ding level 6 has been accumulated by Balmeef. Will be diving towards the bot side tower in, I'll give it 2 waves time. Oh, never mind. Dusty's free.
Ooh, Dusty gonna be the one dove instead. The flashes, the dashes, the turn of the tower. Banistry diving in at the end, but I don't know, man. It's now gonna make them a potential target, as they are gonna have to dash away. Vault Breaker will buy a little bit of space, and Balmeef will not follow. But the Volibear has activated. The Stormbringer already showing up massive.
And not only is this Volibear just a really good pick into the buy in terms of regular skirmishing and mana fighting, the Sivir has so much synergy with almost the entire draft. I think the Aurora is the only one that doesn't really care about the Sivir, but Zeri, Leona, and Volibear all love the movement speed that is provided by the ultimate. And it just feels like 42 came prepared play some League of Legends on 14.15. They have drafted themselves an immaculate composition, and Unique needs to find some sort of aggressive plays, but 42 knows this, and they just hold on, let some of the minion waves go down, sure, but in response they get mid lane pressure, they get the Volibear back onto the map, as long as JJ doesn't die.
And that could be a reality. JJ trying to buy some time, will flash away, but Archfiend just able to pull them back in, and there's no real rebuttal. So Unique finally getting their first taste of victory here with a play that is unanswered by 42.
Yep. They managed, I didn't see exactly what proc the spell shield, but they managed to hold on and keep the spell shield unused. Deadhound though.
Oh, Deadhound just not getting hit by the lightning crash. Actually, a massive, as now Rexxar is one taking a bit of damage here. Deadhound needs to be careful with touch. Gonna have to use Unbreakable Will to stay away from Balmeef, but I don't know how long they can stay under this tower, because yes, Stormbringer's not there, but the Volibear is very tanky, and they're just gonna try and buy some time. Chrissy able to pick up the kill, gets 2, and the TP is a little bit late from Dusty. Balmeef has already done the damage.
And Dusty, for his troubles, gets 4 minions and possibly another wave, as the Sivir in mid is still shoving in the entire way with the ricochets, picking up some plays for herself, maybe getting a free reset right after. And they're not done. They want Dusty.
They're not done. Dusty might be a little bit more tricky to get, although saying that the damage is absolutely insane. The Volibear just not able to do enough though, and respects it. Although the tower change, Rexxar taking the damage. And finally, forced to make a mistake.
An unprompted mistake as well. They could have just had Balmeef tank another tower shot. Sometimes you go and feel yourself a little bit too much. And Unique now have the tempo to punish Chrissy. They recognize the situation really nicely though. Even able to get a little bit of damage, there's a ton of team members ready to support in case Unique looks
like. Oh my days, but Chrissy is doing so much damage, Carvis. Like, lightning crash there, the solar flare over the top, Deadhound might be gone, and another 2 fall to the Zeri. And I gotta say, Carlos, the one big difference of this game is that this time around, Unique haven't got their bottle in ahead. They haven't taken that first early tower. They haven't got the lead, although they do get the kill in the bot lane.
Dusty is still keeping up the nice Orianna play. He's showing that, yes, the mages, especially those that are lane bullies, can still match up AD carries quite well.
Ministry trying to get that shutdown goal from the Zeri. Will get it, I believe. It was Archfiend that secured it, as now a massive brawl has broken out. Rexa being tossed about. And it is going to be Unique that start to come out ahead. Not going to go for anything more, but 42. Maybe it's just the curse of whoever leads the game, Carvis.
It's starting to just feel like if 42 try and pick a fight where they don't have any AD carries left, both of them dead. This lets Unique go for the objective, get it for pretty much free, get some resets before the area are on the map. They just need to worry about the mid lane tower. Someone needs to stay and defend this against the double static Shiv, or the rotation ability will get heavily reduced, and let's 42 start contesting, for example, the Raptor area, which is such a key point for Unique to look for these flanks with the Alistar and the bot.
42. Trying to keep that pressure high. Haven't managed to take that tier 1 tower in the mid lane just yet, but have managed to pick up quite a few plates. A couple in the top siders right now. Oh man, they just keep finding these picks. Touchlow does have Unbreakable Will, so it's going to be quite tanky. Headbutt to get away, but it's not going to be enough. Will be finally picked up a Unique, and now trying to get an aggressive play back here. They brought a multiple TPs. There goes the shockwave. They caught out members, and Banistri able to stay alive. Rexa able to buy a bit of timing. Virtuto will pick up a kill, but it's a 2 for 2 in what looked like such a good momentum play for 42 Gaming.
Nice shockwave from Dusty brings everyone back, and Chrissy positioning a bit too aggressively for his own good. Let's see if we can find a great punish onto Zeri. Now popping the Zivir ultimate, they finally get the tower as well. Nice influx of gold. But you need a small window again to get Dusty back into the base, get some nice items, and play towards the Herald. That could let them get some towers on the map for themselves as well.
2k gold lead though. If we can have a little look at where that is individually, because this Zeri is very, very far ahead, right? It feels like they have to be at least 1.5, if not 2k gold in the lead over this Jinx. Hopefully we get to see that a little bit later. But also the Orianna. Dusty has been having quite a good game, and I feel like last game they weren't really able to play too much with the Azir, so them getting those early kills, getting that early item definitely feels like a proper way that maybe Unique can start to come back in the series.
Ooh, reading 42's lane assignments really well. JJ just taking down jungle creeps, kind of realizes something is up because nobody is there at the Herald to contest. Instead, Hutch and Bananasty are left to lick the fingers, hoping to find a juicy AD carry, instead reduced to jungle farming. Just good defensive play from 42, recognizing that, okay, a couple of mistakes were done. Time to wait for our second item power spikes and then start playing on the map once again.
Yeah, and they've managed to get a lot of picks. The activation of their early game with this Volibear has been strong, but now it is starting to come back against them. I feel like Unique are starting to wake up and smell the coffee. They're getting a few kills here, and they're starting to get picks for themselves. The death roaming squad that they've set up of this bot lane and the jungler really starting to come and cause problems for 42.
Yeah, the Vi is very... Oh
no, here we go, between worlds. That's a massive lockdown, and an history absolutely obliterated. Deadhound as well. An Archfiend gonna come in a little bit late. Dusty trying to run for the hills, but will be picked up too. And hey, it looked so positive for Unique, but 42, they turn it back on.
There were no other words. You see that Aurora ultimate land and you go, oh no. Just instant feel of depression for Unique. They got caught out. That's all. They expended so many resources getting that initial pick on the bomb Eve. They had no way to fight that. 42 recognized it, and that's the playmaking that Aurora offers. You have an AoE Camille ultimate that you cannot get out of. You do not have a dash or a blink or similar type of flash type of pop. And if all 4 members get caught in the 400 damage nuke, it's ridiculously hard to escape.
Yeah, and especially for Deadhound, right? Deadhound and Dusty, if they get locked in, they don't have much mobility anyway. So without their flashes, it is just essentially their death served on a platter. And with the Leona as well on top, it becomes even more difficult. And then if we even add the added layer to it, the ricochets that can come through in that play. So definitely going to be one to watch out for as we go later on in this game. At the moment, it still feels like there is a massive lead for 42, and it's finally time for Unique to try and overcome the adversity come the mid game.
And they almost have the tools to do it. Archfiend being a huge point to look out for. 3, 0, and 2 on the Sante, another great performance from the Unique top laner. But he needs to play the team fight almost perfectly due to there being 2 AD carries and him being forced to get a Kenny Brooken for the initial laning phase matchup. He is efficient and with no flank, there's a flank teleport ward, but no team to play with towards the dragon area. They instead just give it over and try to take mid lane priority and get some gold back to them.
42 now locking down the fight. They will be able to get the stun over the top touch though with a big stop. Oh! There's the shockwave, massive turnaround. Maybe that is what Unique needed as Virtuoso and JJ now in the fight trying to do enough damage, but they do not have what it takes. And all in all, a really nice rebuttal there coming in from the support and mid laner of Unique.
That was a really meaty shot where you just see the entire team of 42 in the bounce house. But only 1 kill comes out of it. Now Touch looking for a flank to possibly continue the playmaking after the mid lane take. But there's just so much wave clear on the side of 42.
Yeah, and we got to say as well, Dusty getting the pick onto Chrissy is massive, right? We talk about how a lot of Unique have started to fall behind, and 42 are looking very strong in multiple areas. Well, the main area that I want to talk about is definitely on Chrissy, right? And if they can kill off this very early on, well, then there isn't really much rebuttal at this moment in time for 42. However, Carvis, as we said, the later the game goes on, the more they start to scale that Sivir when they get to 3 items is going to be a menace.
The main problem with that late game plan is the Jinx, who outranges almost everyone. The Zeri, of course, will be matching her somewhat, but once Jinx starts getting reset, then the team fight is over. And Unique have the tools with the Orianna Shockwave combo to 100 to 0 the Aurora or the Zeri if they get caught out. That's their, so let's call it a loss condition. They need to prevent that from happening. And so far, the team fights have gone Unique's way. They have found the shockwaves. They have a nice amount of gold on Dusty. He's not far behind. They just now need to figure out how to deal with these waves.
Ooh, and this isn't it. Getting caught out in the face. Maybe not going to be the plan. Balmy stepping forward to be aggressive. But we talked about Archfiend, how dangerous they are. They're moving forwards in these team fights. The all-out just making them so difficult to kill. Barely taking any damage. And JJ just can't get it done. But in the backside of the fight, it is a massive shockwave coming out. Chrissy able to start doing so much damage with the lightning crash. But the Orianna is still very much alive. Deadhound and Dusty trying to get away. Gets the reset. The Balmy is trying to chase them down, but does not have the speed, getting kited out, and Unique keep 42 at bay. The carries away, and Archfiend just walking them down all the way through to the tower. Goodbye to the Sivir. There is no hope for 42's rebuttal.
Archfiend plays the fight so well, but we have a poll. Hopefully nothing weird happened there, but yeah, it looked like the team fight was in Unique's hands once Archfiend started to wreak havoc with the all-out, just preventing JJ from pretty much playing the game. Then there was the Aurora ultimate that caught the 2 members. There was, I think, Dusty and someone else caught in the Aurora ultimate, and as you said, lightning crash from Zeri. They start to turn it around a little bit, but the kiting is so clean from Deadhound. Just able to keep themselves out of the Volibear's hands, and they eventually find all the kills while being low HP themselves. Just clean team fighting considering the way it started, really, really out of nowhere and scrappy.
Yeah, no, it's tough, right? It's tough to be Oliver. You know, you only are so fast. If you can't catch and get on top of the carries, you're going to be in big trouble. And right now we saw the Orianna with the slows, the Jinx able to run away. The reset, as you said, was massive because we saw how close the Volibear was to the Jinx. Then they get excited. They're able to walk away. They're able to keep the distance, and then they are no longer in any sort of threat. So all in all, a really nice turn of events for Unique. And again, it begs that question: if you can't get Deadhound before the reset, then you're in big trouble.
Yeah. But for now, everything's calm on the Rift, and Baron still not taken by anyone. The DPS starting to be there though. When the AD carries start to reach 2 or 3 item mark, Baron is a huge target for the team who can get a catch pretty much from anywhere. And Dusty, really close to getting solo flared. If he had left just a second later, would have probably gotten picked off. Needs to be careful in the future. But yes, both teams are just going to be pushing around the Baron area. Since a Cloud Drake, neither team holds it in high priority to set up for that bot side objective. And we may see another long dance ahead of us.
But it feels like Unique are much more comfortable in this later stage, right? It feels like they are doing better as the game has ticked on. As here we go now, a dive underneath the tier 1 tower. This is absolutely massive for them if they can pull it off though, because right now 42 have mobilized. They've come back into the fight. They picked off 2 already, and now Deadhound in big trouble, gonna go down. Dusty, the next target that they're chasing on for, but the slows are big. The Orianna is buying so much time, will get slowed themselves, but just about enough distance covered. And maybe I cursed them a little bit, Carvis, because 42 immediately come back and make a big play.
Playing as the 280 carries is always so difficult. You have to get them both, and without one of the strongest members of your team, Archfiend, there, it's just a little difficult to properly secure that team fight win in a difficult position.
And
However,
we talked about the Cloud Dragon, Carvis, but I want to say Cloud Soul would be absolutely huge for members of 42.
That's what I was about to bring up. The Cloud Soul is a factor where if they get all the dragons for free. The team fight resulted into no objectives being taken, instead just buying time for the dragon to respawn, and now it's a fresh 42 and a fresh Unique on the Rift, but with no cooldowns, 42 is considerably stronger than their opponents.
And the dragon should be slowly but surely picked up there. Move speed buff going to be secured. And I do think it becomes a very scary Volibear if Cloud Soul is secured, because obviously we talked about how it was difficult for them to catch up to Deadhound and Dusty. Well, no longer will that be the issue. So all in all, definitely going to be thinking for Unique that they have to fight in the next 5 minutes.
Probably if it's just a racing car. Dead Man's Plate, Cloud, well, eventual Cloud Soul, 2 Cloud Dragons, the Cloud area. If you can't force the Volibear into combat, this bear is able to do it. Deadhound!
Deadhound able to stay away. The shockwave is big, but there's the lightning crash over the top. The Jinx is dead. Chrissy boards up with some space by Baron History, but it's not going to be enough. And Chrissy is zooming around the fight, but Archfiend, massive carry of the team. Absolutely obliterated, Carvis. The Baron is on the cards for 42 once again.
It looked so good. It looked so good. Deadhound didn't get stunned, was able to get away, but they get a 3-man shockwave. The Sivir is dead. Archfiend is doing everything, but the Zeri vault over the wall into the back lines. The Aurora Ultimate members of Unique cannot reach Chrissy. And once again, they only take down one of the 80 carries that they need to deal with. Archfiend sure was close, but he doesn't have any other armor items except for the Iceborne Gauntlet here. And you can see it. Chrissy melts the HP bar if he gets to play.
It's a sentiment where you said it. You said it, they have to kill both ADCs. They've permanently been killing Chrissy, permanently taking out the Zeri. The one time they get JJ, they focus the Sivir, they forget about the damage that can be done by Chrissy in these team fights, and absolutely obliterates through Deadhound and Dusty. It's just a very, very strong look coming out from 42, and it's starting to bring doom and gloom over Unique. They had a good position in the mid game. They were starting to fight back, starting to find picks, but 42 now twice in a row have had some good team fights.
Now it's the question of, can 42 do what Unique couldn't and close out the game? They don't have the best sieging potential, but they can dive. This does give Unique a chance to look for unprompted mistakes from the side of 42, whether someone gets caught off guard or they overcommit to a dive that they can't take. Because this is not going to be easy. There is the Orianna ball that can wave clear pretty easily. There's also Jinx rockets that have a ton of attack range. So 42 needs to figure out something on how to crack Unique's base.
But with a wave like this, it's going to make it a lot easier. Two cannons starting to crash, but nicely done by Touch to buy a little bit of time, buy a bit of space, stop the cannon from just blasting away at the tower, and Deadhound slowly but surely whittling it down with those zaps. But again, waves is going to keep being pushed. Chrissy, as you said, has dove into the backside, gets the kill onto the Orianna, gets knocked off out of the ground though, and Banistri will be able to pick up that kill now. Aurora locking in Touch and Banistri. That's 2 more kills. The tower is turned off. Deadhound is running away. The cleanse is not enough. They chase them down, and Carvis 42. They might be getting close to the end here. Artrine buying some time, will be knocked up, stunned down, and the damage over the top is raining in. All out is used, but it's not enough. The ace is there in the base. Can they end and take the series?
I think they can. 15 seconds before anyone from Unique is up. Only the Nexus tower is left. And it looks to be a clean 3-0. Chrissy says, hold my guns. I'm going to shove them in your face and take down the most important member on your team. Refuses to go down like Unique did for the first 2 games. And it feels like the further the series went, the more confident 42 became. Yeah.
They got stronger and stronger. And as you said, right, there was a moment of, can they finish off the game? Can they do what Unique haven't done? Well, they answered that immediately. They said, yeah, well, bro, watch, we're doing it right now. And Chrissy jumping into the back, right? I feel like Chrissy has had an amazing series so far, right? The Ezreal, the Zeri, just phenomenal. Like, the play that 42 came with in this one was massive for me, because they showed that not only do they have to rely on an opening in the later stage, but they can take the game and they can bring it into their own hands. They ganked Deadhound. They made him so far behind that they weren't worrying about it. And Dusty had a phenomenal game 3, right? But at the end of the day, could not withstand the damage from the Zeri. The Zeri picks up the kill. It looks a little bit scary because it's a 1-for-1, but then as we see, the rest of the team is just too strong. They pick up the kills. The Aurora ultimate once again, really, really well utilized by 42. And Carvis, they just take them down.
Yeah, I feel like we may be seeing the Battle Bunny a little bit more in the future, considering how well 42 utilized her. And yeah, just very impressive. I was counting them out a little bit in the early stages of the game. As in the first 2 games, Unique honestly played really well. They played good, aggressive League of Legends, and you could see hints of that here in the game 3 mid-game as well, when they were playing around the buy, finding pick after pick. But the damage was already done. Chrissy was too far ahead, and the double AD carry threats were way too difficult to play against.
Okay, well, we are going to go to a short break. When we come back, we will be talking to one of the members from 42 about their win, about their future potentially in this playoffs as well, and maybe some of the strategies we saw today. But don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. Hello and welcome in. I'm blessed to welcome in JJ to the stream. I hope you're doing good. I'm going to kick it off with the first question, which is this the outcome that you expected, that you would win 3-0?
To be honest, I don't expected us to win 3-0. Like even like you saw the second map, it was really handshake, and we were like, I didn't even know how we won that map. To be honest, like they gave us so much lead, and like I don't know, like it was should be a fourth map for sure.
Yeah, we were wondering like what on earth happened on the map, but something that we both noticed with J-Real is that Aurora came in really clutch for you guys. Heading into this new patch,
Yeah.
like what happened in 42? Did you all just suddenly realize, hey, this champion is pretty good for us?
Yeah, like we were really working on our scrims, and we played a lot of Aurora on top at mid lane, so we like knew her a lot of stuff, the things, her possibilities to play in the team fights.
Okay, well, it came off clean. Yeah, it looked amazing. Like, I'll be honest, like definitely one that I imagine is going to get banned against you guys a lot, or maybe you're going to be able to play it a little bit more. I've got to ask you, I want to know now, stylistically as a team, where you guys like to kind of play in the meta, because at the moment it feels like in 2 of your 3 games, right, you weren't doing the best in the early game. You were quite happy to kind of wait till you get to 25 and then win the game, obviously with picks like Smolder, obviously very appropriate. In that last game, you guys stepped up the tempo a lot. So would you say that it's often that you guys like to kind of chill play a lot of late game, or is it more that it's just kind of that's how the game went and obviously they drafted a lot more early game for you?
I mean, we usually like play for outscase, I think, maybe like when we're playing team fights, now we are really like communicating good with each other, and we are not handshaking something like to get caught because before the team fight starts, and like we're trying to play cross maps in even late game if we are behind. So yeah, we usually play for like outscase, I think.
Yeah, and we could really see that in, well, overall the way you play the game, and also in your champion pool. You pulled out some new stuff today, other than the Aurora.
Yeah.
The Sivir mid showed up, and let's just say that with the 80 carry meta in the mid lane, not all people are happy about it, but you seem to be fairly confident in it. How are you feeling with the Sivir mid?
Because nobody, like somebody know that, but not all of like you probably. But I usually plays ADC. Was playing ADC in like for 3 or 4 seasons even, and I role swapped for only my university team, so we can like try to win the university stuff, but we didn't. But still, like I like the mid a lot, and the meta is now for me because it's like mid laners and the ADCs on the mid, so perfectly for me. Build that.
Shout out to the university. You're learning more than just your subjects there. You're learning that you're a good mid laner as well. I got one final question from me to ask you, and that is like, what would you say is? Do you feel like this is the final 42 team? Like, do you feel like this is the final form of you guys, or do you feel like you're still growing, you're still learning a lot, and there actually is an even higher level that you guys could reach?
I think we can reach much higher level because it's like we don't even like we still make mistakes, right? So we have to improve that and get lessons from that. We, for example, last scrims, I think we lost 3-0. Like now we won 3-0, but we get a lot of lessons from that scrim, and we still learning a lot of things together as 42.
Very good to hear. Honestly, watching 42 always really fun. I think you guys are the organization that cooks the most when it comes to playoffs and these games that matter, and it's just awesome to see. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that saying, thank you very much, JJ, for coming for the interview. Do you have any? Oh, we just left him. Okay, we brought him back. All right. Do you have any final words? Anyone that you want to shout out before we let you go?
Just want to thank you all of the people who watched the entire series and were like cheering me in the chat. So thank you guys.
Okay, very nice, very wholesome. All right, let's bring it back to just me and Carvis. So we are going to say goodbye to JJ. Thank you very much for the interview, but Carvis, what a day. Even JJ themselves said that they felt like it should go to a fourth map. We were a bit surprised that it was a 3-0, but you know what? 42, they came to play, they got it done, they showed some new picks, and hey, what can we say?
Yeah. And if this is what we're gonna see for the entirety of this new patch, I'm all down for it. Give me some more Aurora, baby. I love that champion so much. It's so fun to watch.
Now, how do you feel like the rest of the playoffs is going to go? Right? Obviously, I'm not asking you to predict every single game because that would be absolutely crazy. But what I am saying is, how do you feel like Unique are going to recover? Right? Because like they're now down to play against Fourth Wall. And also, how do you feel like 42 are going to match up against Rich Gang?
It's going to be tough. Rich Gang is one of those teams that has looked so damn strong. Like, honestly, it's one of the teams that when I was looking at Division 2, Rich Gang was the one that convinced me the most that this is a team that knows how they play. And I think that comes off the back of Slice just bringing so much experience and that proficiency from the jungle. And for 42 to match up against that, Bomif is going to be probably his hardest matchup in a best-of-5 series against Slice to see how the jungle, two junglers match up against each other.
Oh, indeed. And any thoughts on Unique versus Fourth Wall?
I think Unique will have an advantage there. Fourth Wall, convincing team for me, but depending on how well the bot lane does, I think it's Vardags and Grisen who are playing there. Who I really enjoyed watching whenever they are on the Rift. Especially Grisen, if my memory works well enough, usually puts on a show, loves to play aggressive.
Okay, with that being said, we'll obviously have to see. That's how the cookie has crumbled. Right now, Rich Gang know their opponent is going to be 42 in the top, but there is still a lot of action left. The lower bracket is filled with teams, 4 teams that want to make their way all the way to the finals to have a chance at taking home the trophy. But with that being said, that is all from myself and Carvis. Shout out to our production team, Zoe, and also shout out to Tiv as well for organizing it all. But for now, we are going to say goodnight. We will be back, I believe, I want to say on Friday. I'll double check actually. Let me find out right now.
I think it's isn't it tomorrow? Oh.
We're going to find out. I'll find out right now. Okay, we are back on Friday the 9th. It will be GG versus Lazy in live. So make sure you don't miss a thing. The playoffs is heating up. Who will be the king of NLC Div 2? You'll have to find out.